the race control message list ready to go? Posh, you okay? Got a thumbs up anyway. Let's give it a minute and make sure everybody's sorted out. Yes, sir. Yeah, British Sportscar Championship. All right, looks like everybody's about sorted out. We got all the drivers in here. And I guess that means it's about time for business. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the SCL Season 25 British Sports Car Championship. It is round 4 of 5 in the Season 25 Rolex Endurance Cup. We got a really tight battle at the top of the Rolex Endurance Cup points. I'm going to look it up for you real quick here, provided that it'll allow me to. This goddamn thing needs to be stabbed. Either way, it's tight up front. O'Brien has a narrow lead over Hossack, Barron, and one more there, but I'm trying to get this damn. There we go, tabs. Awesome, there we go. O'Brien holding a 3-point lead over Hossack, 4 points over Barron. Warren and Ben are 10 points back apiece. Shano 15 back, and plenty of positions out of the GT class are also. I mean, it's the Rolex Endurance Cup standings are a single class standings, but even when you're racing in your own class, you're racing for points against the guys in the other one. So we got this race, and then at the end of the season, the 4 hours of Le Mans remaining in this series, and we're hoping to have big announcements regarding this series come next season. But in the meantime, I'll get you guys down to the nitty gritty. We got a 5-minute qualifier. We've got some unique rules tonight, so we want you guys to pay attention. We're starting to experiment with. We're starting to experiment with and differentiate the international tour rules from the American tour rules. And one of them is going to be the one way that we're running here tonight. I'll get to those in a second. Number one, we'll cover the qualifying. You have the 5-minute qualifier. And then after that, we'll be getting to the start at that point. We've got tonight is Rolex Endurance Cup race, and it is a race that requires the AI co-driver. Warren is adding you to a chat right now that will say British Sports Car Championships or something to the like. That is where you check in and out of the car. It's a 3-hour race. You are required to spend a minimum of 60 minutes out of the car. You can do that however you want. You may have to make an extra pit stop to do it if you don't want the computer to do too much time in the car. But that's the drill with these in essence. You're going to be, we got good weather tonight, so we shouldn't have as many of the AI problems. It's clear skies. As soon as Warren pops that up, I'll walk you through how to do that. But you got to spend 60 minutes out of the car, out of the time. I'll walk you through when it comes up, how to put in, AI out. We use the time. We'll use your time markers. It is absolutely vital that you put that in accurately. If you do not spend 60 minutes out of the car, you're disqualified and you don't get classified. If the officials think that you did it on purpose, trying to gain an advantage, you'll be banned from the series for the rest of the season. So make sure that you're that you're clean on that. Basically, what it boils down to is, you're getting out of the car with an hour, 37 minutes left on the clock. I'd put, under my name, Carlin will come up when I put the message. So I would put AI in 137, and then 40 or 50 minutes later, when I bring him back in, I put AI out 48 minutes. Just put it on what the time on the clock says, and you're good to go. As long as it's a total of 60 minutes, you're all set. Now, we do have some interesting rules here on the international tour, and we'll call them, I told you guys in the qualifying, we're basically using Parc Fermé rules here. And what that means is this: when we're done with qualifying, we've got a parade lap. We are using the in-game lights to start. So basically what we're doing is the Parc Fermé rules is you are starting the race on the same tires that you qualified on, or that you would, or in essence, the same ones that you qualified on. When you pit, you can put on whatever tire pressures, tire compounds, make whatever changes you want when you pit. But at the start of the race, under Parc Fermé rules, you'll be running, we're not making a strategy stop. In essence, so you got the strategy stop package on the American Tour. You've got the Parc Fermé rules over here, and you're going to be starting on the default. So when you pit, you can put in your tire changes and all that. But at the start of the race, we will do a clean start rule. Basically, we're going to do single file just like we normally do. You guys line it up, single file a car length back, and then when the lights go green, you go. We are using the clean start rule, meaning that we will only throw the caution, and the international tour would be a red flag on the first lap, and re-rack the start if we need to on the first lap. If there's a red flag incident on the first lap, we'll back you down, put you back into your starting position. Oh, actually, we're not. I think we were going to wave that off, right, Warren? You line up where you line up. You re-rack where you re-rack. We will do it up to no. Gotcha. We will do that up to a maximum of 3 times. That also means that the AI rules, there's no minimum. As soon as we clear the lap and it's clean and green to go, you guys can make your AI stops whenever you want at that point, any point in the race. So that's the gist of it. As far as let me check out those messages and make sure everybody's on. To the broadcast booth that I'm in. When you get out of the car, you're welcome to join me in the booth and get interviewed, shoot the shit, or just take up some talking while I'm wandering around smoking a bowl or chasing a 3-year-old. So whatever it is that you guys whatever it is that you guys want, you are allowed to come in there and join the broadcast. We will be broadcasting it on the SCL Racing Network. So Don't stay. Yeah, get back in the room chat. AIs guys, they're pretty solid here, but be careful. You know they have their own braking zone. They're the rich guys who ponied up a big check to get in the car with you this week. So you got what you got. Be careful with those cars. I've been informed that Lord Featherbottom is not with us this week. Him and Rita had a falling out. Her new, you know, what's the new one, Rita? I don't know. We'll have to pick a new one for you. Let me know later. All right. But yeah, they're in essence amateur class drivers that are pay to drive cars. They're going to be off pace. Be careful with them. You can absolutely be reported for something you do to an AI car, so make sure that you're on the ball. And it's a long race. You guys know how these races go. We've done them enough times. You might be 3 minutes off the pace at some point, and it all tends to come back at the end. You know, everything kind of sorts out. So the point is stay on it. You know, finish the race, finish the race, put on a show. If you absolutely have to split, put it on the AI the rest of the way. We want to show respect for your fellow drivers, and you want to score points. You know, uh, these points are going to matter heading into next season more than likely. I think we got just about everything covered. And if Warren's got anything else to add, I believe he wants to talk about the track limits real quick. I don't want to cut you off, Warren, but mind your split, guys. If you have your fastest lap or previous lap or whatever split, if you gain 2-3 tenths of a second, back off. If you do something like that and you don't gain any time, then it's okay. You understand what I'm saying? That's the main thing. If we see the interval change, if we see all that, that's when you could be penalized for it. Go ahead, Warren. I'm sorry. And do they need to use the access road out of the pits? Okay, so they stay to the right on the access lane. I'm just meaning you I'm just meaning you have to stay on that access road, not cut immediately to the left coming out of the pits. Yeah. But yeah, that should cover it. As we I think we're pretty good. As Warren said, reset button and pit road speed limiter. As long as you're not deliberately ghosting through cars, you're good on the pit lane, going as fast as you want. And I'm going to be up in the broadcast booth, as I said. The show and go, guys, make sure you play it smart, making passes. This is a international tour race. We said there's no full course yellows unless we have some kind of disaster and we need to red flag it. So make sure that you're running smart. The points are very tight in the Rolex Endurance Cup all the way up and down. So let's have a clean race, put on a good show, and let's get you guys out there to qualify. I'm going to head into the booth. Warren and Rita, best of luck to you guys. I'll be sending you guys invites momentarily here once I get you started to that booth. Just join up whenever you feel like it. And best of luck. Remember, guys, at the start, Warren and Rita will walk you through it. Parade lap, single file, but you're going on the lights. So get yourselves closed in early. If you're half a mile back because you spun it or were screwing around, we are not red flagging the start for you. We got a 3-hour race. You lose 10 seconds because you were dicking around under pace, then make sure that you sort it out. Yeah, thanks, guys. Got some viewers on there. All right, well, I'm here in the booth. Carlin Hicks with you on the SCL Racing Network. Welcome to the SCL Season 25 British Sports Car Championship. It's round 4 of 5 in the SCL Rolex Endurance Cup for Season 25, the Sports Car Championship for the International Tour. This is a 3-hour race. These guys will be running with a minimum 60 minutes that the AI co-driver must be in. We'll be seeing some of them in the booth with me throughout this broadcast as we are at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, where this weekend we've had a full series of events on the International Tour, the V8 World Tour, Silverstone Pro-Am. We had the British Touring Car Championships last night, and it was one of our GTE competitors tonight, Stay Down Killin', who took the victory there. These guys are going to have a 5-minute qualifier here to set their starting positions for the race. We just completed at-large qualifying for the GTE class. We had 15 entries for those 9 spots, and 9 of them coming through here. We will give a full accounting of the starting order when we get to it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to put on the timings here. As we're sitting in the garage, just kind of waiting out the end of qualifying. The top 6 cars in the Rolex Endurance Cup right now in the points are running in the LMPH class, a special class for this race, whereas the 9 GTE drivers are the remaining group of the field. As I said, they had to go through a tough at-large qualifying to get through, but we have been blessed considering all the weather we've seen here, particularly in the road racing series and SCL here in season 25. Clear day. We've got nothing but light clouds, clear skies here at Silverstone. It is an autumn race, being the latter part of the 10-week SCL calendar. So it's autumn, as you can see, 75 out, 86 track temperature. That's just about perfect track conditions. You might want about 10 more degrees. It's a 1700 start time, 5 p.m., so it's going to get dark over the course of the race. That's going to make this very interesting. The track temperature will drop, but with the weather being good, I don't see it dropping much. You might see some better grip coming in. How the AI co-drivers, our amateur class drivers, are going to be 3, 4, 5 seconds off the pace of the SCL drivers, and how the guys strategize that. They're going to have a minimum. You're going to have to make at least 2 stops in the GTE class and 3 stops or more in the prototype class. So it's tough to tell, what we're going to see here at Silverstone tonight. The Rolex Endurance Cup race is always very tough, and if you want to see the best in sim racing, you came to the place here on the SCL Racing Network. The American Tour, of course, running Winston Cup, Camel GT, IndyCar, and all the best American staples. The International Tour running a variety of series in development, including this one, the Rolex Endurance Cup, and we look to have a very solid race tonight. These cars are all spec. Under Parc Fermé rules tonight on the International Tour, where they will be starting on the defaults. When they pit, you will likely see tire pressure changes, maybe some minor handling adjustments in terms of the brake bias and whatnot. But Parc Fermé rules here on the International Tour. We're working on in development to add to our already wildly successful and 25 season strong American Tour. The International Tour will feature the Formula One World Championship, which is going to be the Formula X cars. If those of you want to start driving them, we've got the Rolex Endurance Cup cars here. We got V8 World Tour with the supercars. Looking like a very promising. All those cars are spec. So it comes down to your driver and your strategy. Well, right now, top of the board here early on the first lap is Baron von Stosch. He is currently third in the Rolex Endurance Cup. This is the second season of the Rolex Endurance Cup here on the International Tour. O'Brien, the defending series champion, winner of the 4 Hours of Le Mans last season in season 24, is the points leader, but by a narrow margin over the Apex teammates Hossack and Barron. These guys were randomly selected by the manufacturers into their cars in that top class, so very interesting take there. As qualifying's running down, as of right now, Barron holding significant advantage, as obviously some of the other LMPH cars catching traffic here, particularly the 6th one, which I don't know why I'm not finding them there. Who is that is out? Barron, Hossack, O'Brien, Warren, Ben. Shano's in the wrong car. All right, hang tight. Warren, you got ears on me? Warren, you got me? You know Shano's in GTE, right? Not. No, whatever. All right, well, got my answer. 5 cars in the LMPH class tonight and 10 in the GTE. LMPH is our finish. It looks like Baron von Stosch of Apex Motorsport is going to be on the pole. Hossack, his teammate, will be starting second. O'Brien, the defending Rolex Endurance Cup champion from JME Motorsports, will be starting third. His teammate Warren Kyle Keith for JME will start fourth, and Ben from AMG Motorsport will start fifth. In the GTE class, if I can get through this before it cuts me off, as some of these guys are still racing, so we might see some changes here. We'll run through the entirety of the starting order. Shano, the reigning Camel GTE class champion, he bunts up. There goes Stay Down, current Winston Cup points leader. It's an all-star cast of drivers here tonight for the British Sports Car Championship on the International Tour. We're waiting for these guys to finish out. Going to be a hell of a battle up front. Going to be a hell of a battle here in the GTE class. We're looking forward to bringing it to you. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Let me give you your starting lineup for tonight's SCL Season 25 British Sports Car Championship. Starting on the pole from Apex Motorsport is Baron von Sta. Starting second, his teammate Hossack 24. Starting third, O'Brien 79, the reigning Rolex Endurance Cup champion from JME Motorsports. Starting fourth, Warren Kyle Keith from JME Motorsports, and starting fifth will be Ben from AMG Motorsports. Leading the GTE class, their pole sitter in the GTE class, starting sixth will be Stay Down Killen. Starting seventh will be the reigning Camel GTE champion Shane O'Kano from Renaissance Racing. Starting eighth will be the independent rookie Average Gamer, very fast from down in Australia. Starting ninth is It's PT, most recent winner in the Camel GT series in the GTE class. Starting 10th will be N. Staza, the reigning Bathurst 500 champion. Starting 11th will be Pogo Gun, another top rookie driver. 12th will be Gunter from Extreme Speed Motorsports. N. Staza's from Renaissance, by the way. 13th will be S2N Remy, the longtime veteran, on his return for an independent ride. 14th is another independent TS24 fan getting in at the last minute as an alternate. 15th will be Rita St. James of JME Motorsports. All right, guys. They are ready to start up here at the British Sports Car Championships. They will be going right off of the grid park Ferme rules, so there is no strategy stop here at the beginning of the race. I'm going to get on the monitor here as we get ready to cover the start. Park Ferme rules means they're coming out on defaults. They will then have to be allowed to make any changes they choose once they're making their pit stop. As I said, we're going to see at least 2 pit stops out of the GTE class and 3 or more than likely out of the LMP class. The LMP class do not have the fuel capacity of the GTE, so it's going to take them longer to get out. But we look to have, you'll see this field spread over the course of the 3 hours in a Rolex Endurance Cup race. It comes down to strategy, precision, how well you set up your AI co-drivers, make sure that they are in at the right time. That's an absolute vital part of a strategy here. And we'll see what we get now. Guys getting sorted with about 30 seconds to go until they roll it out. Well, we're glad to have you here on the SCL Racing Network, the best place to see and compete in your sim racing. Most even, most competitive. I won my first Indianapolis 500 in the league way back in season 14 by 1/1000th of a second after 500 miles. That says all you need to know. All right, these guys are going to roll it. I'm going to jump onto shotgun on the field on the chase cam here at the start so that I can get a good view of the opening of this race. These cars will be packed together here on the start. Clean start, Park Ferme rules, as Baron in our pole sitter here for the British Sports Car Championship will be running out front. All right, looks like I better plug in the old phone so I can make my statistical references here on the broadcast to our faithful viewers as they are coming right now through Brooklands left field. I believe. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. My map's just a little cockeyed here. After Woodcott, they come down towards Cops, the incredibly fast turn. Circuit is 3.6 miles thereabouts. And over the 3 hours, we're going to see a lot of mileage. Baron von Stosch, his teammate Hossack, the Apex Motorsport teammates, qualifying 1-2. Right behind them, O'Brien, the reigning Rolex Endurance Cup champion, a fantastic track record in these races for JME Motorsport. Last season's Camel GT champion in the GT3 class, winner of the 4 Hours of Le Mans last season. He's had a good season this season as well. Class win at the Daytona Continental, one of the biggest sports car races on the American Tour in the Camel GT series. All right, it looks like these guys are just about set to go. They're waiting on the clock. They're lined up. And we're about to go green here in the British Sports Car British Sports Car Championship. Get my notes right. Baron von Stosch leading us to it. 5 LMP cars will be in their own little top battle. A lot of fast drivers in the field. And we are green, green, green. On board with Remy as they come through. Club the first time through the inside. Battling out here for position in the back. Let's take a look up front. Off they go. The Apex car is getting off to a good jump. As soon as they hit the line, they'll be green to go. Not have to re-rack them. Looks like Ben got a spot on Warren on the start there. As they fly through Copse. Coming up on Beckett's. As Barron has opened up a lead, he's come out on these default tires with the clean air. He's putting himself into a quick position. No weather the factor here tonight, which ought to make this a ultra competitive race. O'Brien getting by Hossack. Hossack right back on him. And they have cleared the lap and are good to go. Take a look at the GTE class. It looks like Stay Down, the pole sitter, already fallen back to fourth in his Ford GT, and Shano Kano has pulled out to a lead over Average Gamer in the Porsche. Shano Kano, as I said, last season, season 24 Bathurst 500 winner, Camel GT champion in the GTE class, has won 3 times in that series this season, and looking to get himself back into the championship chase. And he's got 3-car group himself, Average Gamer and It's PT, first, second, and third in the class, 6th, 7th, and 8th overall. But this is a long race. You'll see gaps flex and go, and looks like Stay Down's getting himself back into it. Pogo's not far back. Very tight group still. Meanwhile, up front, see Baron von Stosch pulling out 3.5 seconds in the Audi over O'Brien. 4 seconds now. He is just blazing at 1:39. Rolex Endurance Cup with special manufacturer deals. These guys were assigned these cars in the top class. Brian also in the Audi. Warren getting back by Ben. Let's get some onboard chase action where we can see some good stuff here. Let's take a look at Stay Down in the Ford GT as he's following its PT and Average Gamer, the battle for second in class here in the opening minutes. Stay Down, current points leader in the SCL Winston Cup Series in the American stock cars. Has had some sports car success too in his SCL career, which goes back about 10 seasons now. A chance to see it in the cockpit of that Ford GT. Going to be seeing pressure from the back once he gets into heavy traffic here, I'm sure. It's going to take about 6 or 7 laps. About every 6 or 7 laps, I imagine, you're going to see lapping among the of the GTE cars. Shano pulling out about a 2.5 second lead. He's a driver that if he can get locked into a rhythm, he can roll away, especially in a clean track. Very smooth driver, brakes early, takes care of the car. You do not see things like excessive tire wear and brake fade when Shano Kano's in the car. And that's going to benefit him early. So if he gets early track position, he can really just cruise and take care of his equipment and push when he needs to. He'll be in real good shape. As I said, reigning Camel GTE champion on the American Tour. Close group of cars here on the track. Let's get back on the chase cam. Rita St. James hitting the pits early for JME Motorsports, just 7 minutes in. Bit of a surprise there. I'm wondering if there's a problem with the car. She might have put the AI in. I can check that for you here momentarily. Meanwhile, let's get back up on some of these tight battles up front. Stay Down's a little farther back there. There's PT. Most recent winner in the Camel GT series at Watkins Glen in the GTE class. And they're still battling. Meanwhile, up front, Baron von Stosch opening up 6-second lead. O'Brien finally pulling those lap times down into the 139s, into range with them. But these guys just now settling in here. As you can see, quite a healthy gap in the first 8 minutes of the race. Warren already 16 seconds back. Ben 35 seconds back. He must have had some trouble at some point on the track. A 151 lap. It looks like he had a loop. But lots of time to get back into this now. As Barron comes through the first group of cars, somebody else hitting the pit lane. Looks like TS24 fan hitting the pit lane just 9 minutes in. I'm wondering if these guys are going to be making early driver changes here just to try to get the AI. Maybe they want to get their co-driver out of the way early. We'll see here as TS24 fan pulls it. An independent driver in his second season. Very promising. A bit surprising if he's taking tires. I think some of it is the guys don't like the default tire setup. Might have been Rita's plan here. Get the better tires on it. And that is definitely a co-driver coming out for TS24 fan. He's getting the co-driver in early at the 2:51 mark or so, just 9 minutes into the race. So some of these guys deciding to make that change early. And off he goes. Close to a minute behind. Let's get back on this close battle here. These are the top three, I believe. Got a little bit of an issue with our splits here. They are not that far apart. PT struggling there through the last section of Brooklands and left field. Oh, around he goes. Big accident. Big accident. PT unable to avoid Average Gamer, who went around coming off of left field. He probably should have slammed on the brakes and tried to weave around him, but he winds up going straight into him. And Average Gamer gets back on it, sorts himself back out into fifth in class, and he's now going to have to race for it. Him and PT both losing wads of time. That's going to shoot Shano out 8 seconds in front of the second place car in class. So Average Gamer goes around 10 minutes into this race right in front of its PT. PT completely fails to avoid him, T-bones him, and as those guys get moving, they lost a ton of time, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10-12 seconds. Shano's got some of the prototypes coming around on him. As it looks like we had something going on up front as well. O'Brien now 27 seconds back. I'm wondering if I did not see him hit the pits. So I'm wondering if something happened to lose 27 seconds. I'm going to have to pull up the race control here and let you guys know. I'm not on it. Damn it. I just got to pull. AI in very, very early. So a bit of a surprise early on there. O'Brien's got his AI co-driver in very, very early. We've got a glut of traffic up here. Average Gamer getting a little rough with somebody. Looks like possibly Staza. Gamer qualifying very well, but having a little lack of focus here early in the race. He's already looped it, banging around with the other cars a little bit, and just costing himself time as they try to work around TS24's lap down car, I believe. Got my splits are all messed up, so I'm not really sure who's where. There's Shano, the class leader. On board with Pogo's second in class. He's got cars behind him. Let's get a little on board here with Ben Staza in his Ford GT. Actually, let's get some, let's go to Average Gamer and get some Porsche time in the Porsche 911. Independent driver, rookie drivers, had a very promising season in his debut. Already a winner in some of the support series. And really just a lack of concentration there. I thought he qualified well. Going around now, he's got to make up a bit of an interval gap, which we hope will fix itself in the scoring. But this is a long race. You got a long way to go. Got to be patient, take care of the car underneath you. You're out here on the default tires you started on, all hard tires more than likely. And these guys are going to have to drive through it. Parc Fermé rules. You see Average getting passed by another prototype car. Oh, I'm missing stuff all over the track. Let me check and see if... Oh, for the love of God, guys. It's called following the invite that is in the message group. Before we started. All right, so Shano coming in 15 minutes into the race as well. Falls back to 8th in class, 13th overall after shooting out to the lead. So quite a few guys getting the AI co-drivers in early. All right, make sure you got your allow voice to be shared there, TS. All right, on board here with TS's Ferrari. Independent driver in his second SCL season, just joining us in the booth. So you decided to go and get the co-driver in early there, TS.
Yeah. I wanted to run the last 2 hours myself.
Gotcha. You weren't worried about adding a pit stop by doing that?
No.
You're just going to go for a long haul run here towards the finish. Are you thinking? Are you looking at the track conditions? You know, you want to drive in the night. Is that kind of your thinking, or how did you arrive at that?
I think it's because I know I'm faster than the AI driver themselves, and maybe hoping to capitalize on some at the end.
Absolutely. Make sure your voice is being shared there, Average Gamer. It looks like Average Gamer came in as well. Got a lot of guys deciding to go off sequence here early on. Pretty much can ask Average Gamer the same questions as TS24. Looking more, deciding to get out early, Gamer. I got you. Yeah, we saw that. You got looped, or you looped it and then got T-boned. I think some guys struggling with the Parc Fermé rules, maybe with those tires. There's a number of guys are going to pick up speed when they put their setup on, and I think we'll see a lot of that here throughout this race. But right now, a number of guys have pulled off and put the co-driver in. And we'll cycle up here through the front of the field. Meanwhile, still out front. Overall, Baron von Stoss shot out to the lead currently on lap 12. He's holding a 21-second advantage over Hossack here in the early going. O'Brien already out of the car. O'Brien was the first one out in the LMP class. TS24. Shano pitted from the lead and put the co-driver in. Yeah, Shano pitted from the lead. He's back 7th in class now. We're taking a look at the lap times here. Obviously hitting traffic there. There've been 138s, 139s, 140. We'll see what Barron hits next time he goes by, but he's obviously comfortable in the qualifying trim. He's obviously very comfortable in the qualifying trim that he was forced to start with, and is staying out and building up his lead here now up to 22 seconds. I'm not obliged to. I mean, you might want to, but you're not obliged to. Yeah, you're watching the broadcast. You're talking. You're working the booth now. At the start, the using the Park Ferme and the qualifying tires, differences from testing, differences we'll see when those get out. TS, what did you think right off the start there?
Hello.
Hey, O'Brien, make sure you're sharing your voice and hang on. Oh, Ravage, you go ahead and take the question. On the qualifying trim, how was it at the start? Yeah, that's what I mean. Is on the qualifying trim at the start of the race, were the cold tires were a problem? That the cars were pretty warm on the warm-up lap. Were they okay on the start? Yeah, they had good tires. I think we're going to see a lot of changes when those guys get in. Anyway, we got O'Brien in here from JME Motorsports in the LMP class. He is the reigning Rolex Endurance Cup champion, currently the points leader. Came in early. Decided to get the AI in. I shot the same question to them, O'Brien. Something to do with wanting to drive into cooler track conditions, or what's the deal there? And Barron looks like he put himself into that situation. Came right across the front of, looks like Ben.
Ooh,
Barron's probably upset there, but it looks like he came right across Ben's hood as he was passing him. He was making the pass and dove back across, at least what it looked like on the broadcast, and as a result gave away a good 10 seconds. So things just got a little bit more interesting there.
Yeah, I think my AI just had a collision with Rita too.
Or maybe it was your AI, I don't know.
I don't know. There's my AI in there, so I don't know. I wouldn't want. Oh, I know it wasn't me, but because I got out before we really started crossing up with him. But yeah, it's a very good possibility. Yeah, basically, it wasn't so much about the cooler track temperatures as it was looking at laying out a pit strategy and what I thought might be the quickest way to go.
Absolutely.
And I'm just trying something, and we'll see what it works.
Well, you're the reigning series champ and the reigning Le Mans champ. You obviously know how to do these.
Yeah, I've been, it seems like I tend to figure out the pit strategies fairly well, because I know I don't always have the pace. Like you can see today, Barron's got pretty damn good pace in race trim here.
No, he's in quality. He's not in race trim. Remember,
well,
they're not. Park Ferme rules. He's on qualifying trim, so he's definitely fast. Yeah. He's definitely the quickest car in that trim. Yeah. But we'll see what happens in race trim, obviously.
Very true, very true. And yeah, we'll see as the race goes on. I just the more I thought about it and looked at how I could lay it out once you guys explained what the procedures were going to be, and this is kind of, I said, well, let's give it a shot and see if it works.
Absolutely. Well, you did pretty well. You came out of the pits 27 seconds back after the stop. Not bad. Sitting at 43 right now. Let's go on to the guy on board here that we hired. We'll go ahead and get in the... I'm actually going to save that camera for the one of the regular drivers. But the car feels good, though?
Yeah, it's not the setup that I want for race trim. I haven't even put my AI into the proper setup yet. I will on his next stop. I'll swap him over and
I decided to, when I did the AI driver swap, I just decided just to top them off with fuel and keep the same tires on. And then what I'll do when he goes in for the next one, I'll go ahead and put in what I want, because then I can jump in and do a fuel only when I get in the car.
Absolutely. And just to get some opinions of the drivers, you are well aware of the racing series and development on the international tour. What do you think about the international tour rule set?
To be honest with you, Carlin, I don't know all the details on it yet, so I don't want to comment. I know you guys are working on a few different things.
Well, I'm talking about
honestly,
you're running it tonight. This is in
what
essence
we're doing here.
Yeah, Parc Fermé rules, straight off the go.
As far as this goes, I mean, I like it from the standpoint of it's different than what we normally do. It definitely you have to change your thought process for how you want to approach the race. And if you're going to run this way, you better get some practice in on default setups.
Absolutely, and that's sort of the idea. The American Tour and the International Tour will have their own unique flavor, and that reflects the style of racing that we do. But
yeah,
it's looking very promising. We have excellent cars tested out in Formula One, Rolex Endurance Cup, and V8 World Tour. And we'll see. Meanwhile, I'm on board here with Barron, the overall leader. Still turning laps, hit 140 there on a clean lap. He's definitely experiencing some tire wear, though, as he's been a little inconsistent the last handful of laps, but he's built himself up a lead here.
Yeah, I'm hoping that with him staying out and putting his AI in later that I can hopefully close that gap back up, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, she hasn't come in here. When she does, I'll ask her about it. My guess is issues with the setup. Yeah, she didn't want to run the qualifying trim, decided to go ahead and get out of the car. So we'll see how that works out.
And the co-drivers looks like he's doing pretty damn consistent laps. At least mine is. We'll see. I haven't looked to see what everybody else is running yet. Ben's got his AI driver in, doesn't he?
Ben? No, I don't think so.
Oh, he doesn't. Okay, so he's just off the pace.
I don't know if I've seen him come in. You have to check the feed, check the stream or the list.
Yeah, Ben was in at 2:15.
Yeah.
2:45. I'm sorry.
2:45. Okay, so he did. Okay, that makes more sense with his lap time.
Barron Yep, here we go. Barron coming up on averages. Co-driver finally gets by him on the front straight. Patience is the key here in the Rolex Endurance Cup races. I mean, any one of the championship events, you got to be patient. You got to understand that, risk reward factor. These races, though, we got to see. We're not without weather in the equation. There's not that monkey wrench in there, but the track temperature's already dropping. We've seen 3 degrees of track temperature, 1 degree of ambient temperature just in the last half hour since the start of the race as the sun's going down. That's going to be a factor at some point. Let's take a look there. Remy making his return. A little background on Remy. Remy was a rookie with me way back in season 12. He was the very first driver I signed to JME Motorsports when I opened up shop in season 14. And he ran very well for a long time. 6-time winner in the Indy cars. He's got wins in Winston Cup as well. Very good racer in the support series and was the season 17 Indianapolis 500 champion. But when we finished on GT6 in season 21, he took some time off, didn't run over the last 3 seasons, and now is back this season. And right off the bat, performance has been up and down on the track, but he has been qualifying into the races throughout large qualifying the majority of the time. So he's found speed right off the bat. It's a matter of putting the consistency together for him. And I think we'll see him moving his way back up through the field. Find somebody where the action is here. Looks like we got cars pretty well spread out on the track right now.
I've got tire wear. I'm gonna assume about 25% right now on all four.
Yeah, they seem to just chew through the tires.
And the tires are getting eaten up pretty good. Seeing a lot of wear. That's not an unusual thing on a flat, wide track like Silverstone, because not only do you not have a whole lot of camber or anything in the corner to catch the car, you have a lot of track to use the tires in. You know, if this track was narrower, you would not have as much tire wear, because it would.
So like Long Beach, you wouldn't have much.
Yeah, you actually have less tire wear on those kind of tracks because you can't you don't have anywhere to fling the car around.
Yeah.
And on a flat track like this that doesn't have any camber in the turns, you're going to see extreme tire wear, and or not extreme, but it accelerated to some extent, and that's kind of what we're seeing as we see Stay Down Killing get passed by a prototype. Currently running second in class. He's not far behind Pogo Gun, who's the class leader. Those still two are the SCL drivers in the car.
So the top four haven't pitted, is that correct?
Not correct. O'Brien has. Are you talking about in GTE class? I believe the
GTE,
top four are still out there. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Top four in the GTE class.
I'll give you temperatures here, Carlin. 73 ambient and 82 track temperature.
Yeah, it's starting to go down little by little here. Sun's dropping.
Oh, Barrington. There we go.
All right, looks like Barron hits the pits, Hossack hits the pits. I'm going to make a bet that these guys are making a scheduled driver change. Hossack misses his pit stall by a lot. Misses it twice. Oh, he's getting killed here.
That's not good.
That's tough for Hossack. Barron comes out. It's on the limiter. That is definitely his co-driver. So Barron is out of the car at the 228 mark. Hossack.
I've got LMP1s coming behind me.
Hossack falling back here after he lost a lot of time there on the pit stop. They're making his changes and he'll be on his way back out. Barron's car coming back out in the lead, but he's got Warren on his tail. I believe Warren's still in the car.
Yeah, I believe so.
So we should see a pass for the lead here relatively soon.
Yeah, Warren's still in, I think, right now.
WKK, veteran driver, believe in his 8th or 9th SCL season. We'll be with you in a second, Baron. Make sure you're sharing your voice. Hadn't been much of a season for WKK. Signed up with JME this season, was looking to do good things. He's had a real tough time much of the season, but he's still been high enough here in the Rolex Endurance Cup points to get into the top class here in the British Sports Car Championship. He's a former Camel GT champion back in season 21, former Daytona Continental winner. You know he can get it done, and he's obviously on his own game plan. Well, our pole sitter overall and the early leader of the race, Baron von Stosch, taking the AI out. I'll shoot you the same question I shot them, Baron. Parc Fermé rules on the qualifying tires seem to benefit you. You had a faster car in the qualifying trim, it appeared, than the rest of the guys. Plus, a clean track up front didn't hurt. So how did you feel about the start, and how did it go?
Definitely threw me for a loop. But I kind of like it. It's interesting.
Yeah, like I told you,
I prefer this way.
I told these guys it's something we're messing with to give the international tour its own flavor. You know.
Yeah.
And nothing like that's changing on the American tour races, but over here, quite possible. But yeah, it looked like you had the car in qualifying trim. Plus, obviously everybody likes starting up front and not having to deal with traffic immediately. But go
ahead. Sorry, my bad.
I was gonna say the one incident that you got into. I'm not sure if that was Ben. It looked on the broadcast as though you thought you were clear and came across his hood. But what did you see in the car?
I I was just being over aggressive. I'd say it's 100% my fault. I didn't take into big consideration that his co-driver was in, and sometimes they can be a little narrow-minded. So I just took that for granted, and I went for it, and I bit the bullet for it.
Yeah, I hear you. I lost you 10 seconds, but everybody else has had their issues already as well, so with a long way to go.
Yeah, it's a long race. I'm just buckling down, seeing what my AI can.
Is Warren still in the car? Is Warren?
He's still in it.
Yeah.
Somebody's GT's battling with me.
Tell you what, my AI driver's stuffing into the corners around these GT cars.
He's finally starting to put a little bit in.
It's me doing it.
O'Brien, are you in the Audi?
Yeah.
I think Warren's having a little
I
tire.
think your driver punted me into, or not punted me, but he rubbed fenders, so to speak, going into the final two corners.
He gave you a little halo.
He did.
Oh, Raiders making a move on for 7th place.
That's all right.
She's trying to see if that's my co-driver.
Hossack's AI driver punted me like you wouldn't believe.
Oh no, here comes Hossack's co-driver right now. Oh no, this is trouble. Oh. 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 Raiders still can't get past my co-driver. My co-driver is holding his ground really well. Oh, there she goes.
Oop.
Alright,
no,
guys, I'm gonna get back to the garage for the debrief real quick, so I'll catch you
All right, see you
a little bit later.
Yeah, see you in a little bit, Baron. Good run.
There's a bit of contact between Rito and my co-driver.
Nope, she gets
She
through
just-
finally.
Bumping a bit of a bump and run, but it's fine.
That was a little bit of an understandable bump and run. If that had been
She must be really right.
if that had been one of the SCL drivers who had chopped me off like that, I probably would have bump and runned him the next corner too.
Yeah, very true.
All right, Pogo Gun, leader in the GTE class. He's got a couple seconds there. I've got problems here with my splits; are all messed up. But as you can see, just holding off there on stay down, as I believe those top four are still in the car as the sun sets here at Silverstone. Little information for the drivers and the viewers about tentative plans on the international tour. Very much built on the same model as the American tour, in that, going to the same venues for all the series on a weekend. Those are long time formulas that have worked for the SCL. But the interesting twist in the international tour is that you'll see some rotation. For example, every season when you go to Britain for the British Grand Prix, British Sportscar race, and so on, one season it'll be at Silverstone, the next season it'll be at Brands Hatch, and it'll alternate between the two. You'll see a similar thing for the German race between Hockenheim and Nürburgring. You'll see a similar thing in the European and the North American GPs will rotate from track to track, season to season. So you're going to see a lot of racing in a lot of good places.
Carl, I'm going to jump out in case some of these other guys want to come in.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, good luck. But a lot of good things on the horizon.
Should be too until my co-driver comes in.
And we already had good races this weekend. The V8 World Tour event had 13 starters in it. The Pro-Am this morning was packed full with some great racing. And last night's British Touring Car Championship, as we said, stay down killing. And we were just talking about earlier. I'll jump on to him right now, running second in class. He was the winner in that event. So a lot of good racing. American Tour will be back up next weekend as they head to
Sonoma, isn't it?
Sonoma and Indianapolis.
The final 2 weekends of the American Tour.
Yep. Final 2 weekends of the season. Sonoma and Indianapolis is where the cars will be. The Brickyard 400 Winston Cup race. I'll be looking forward to that. 2-time winner. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Matt.
If you let me put it this way, guys. When you work hard for the trophy case, you got to polish them. But anywho, yeah. Remy, I was talking about it while you were still in the car in the broadcast. 10 seasons in the league, took the last few seasons off, making your return. Obviously, consistency, racecraft, not quite there, but you've been qualifying in through at-large qualifying. Anybody watching who is new to the SCL, new viewer, new driver, doesn't know this, but I mean, we have the most, if you're not a provisional starter locked into a race, it's cutthroat to make it into the championship division. So to come right back in and qualify for probably 80% of the races you've tried to do, it must have your confidence up coming back like a brand new like this. Just to get in, you can do your race testing in the races. Exactly. I think that. Go ahead, Remy. That'll happen. What I would say here, if we're talking, got a lot of time to kill in these broadcasts, Remy, so I'm going to fill some time here. Looking back on, I said you and me were rookies together in season 12. Anybody wondering how long ago that was? That was the very beginning of 2014. That was 5 years ago. We get about 3 or 4 seasons a year in. I think the story the whole time you've run in the league, as I said, it depends on the series we're talking about. You had a lot of success in support series. I still remember your first points win in Grand National or late model of the SDP 100. But in the big series, I think the story like in IndyCar, you've had wins. You had a season where you won 4 races in one season. The story for you has always been consistency. When Remy's on, everybody knows when Remy's on, he doesn't blow you away with lap speed, but Remy is as good as anybody one-on-one. If you're racing for position at the end of the race and he's got the car and the track position, you're as tough as anybody to get by. The thing is getting to that point. I think everybody knows that you would have doubled most of your career wins in those series had that happen. Do you feel that that's still a concern in the new equipment, and or do you feel like you're getting a hold of it? Yeah. Gotcha. What I would say is I've already seen the glimpses of promise there from you, and I'll tell you why. One of your biggest weaknesses in the GT6 era was getting in and out of the pit. You were notorious for leading the race by 3 seconds and blowing it on the last pit stop. I think that even though it's harder
Carl.
yes.
I made a mistake. I wrote AI out, but I didn't swap my driver. And I did that by accident.
You wrote AI out and didn't swap your driver?
Yeah.
Just
I
correct
forgot
just correct it right underneath it. If you just
Okay.
typed it, just correct it. But what I've noticed, even though it's harder to make those stops, Remy, in this game, I've noticed that you haven't been suffering as much. You know, getting in and out of the pits. Putting it in your hand seems to make you better. No, it's good to have you back, Remy. It's good to have you back, Remy. You're one of the legendary vets, almost certainly a future Hall of Famer in the SCL at some point. You've already done that at some point. You've already put that resume together, regardless of what you do from here on forward. But yeah, I remember that one. Things looking pretty good up front. Barron's AI back in the lead, as I believe Warren came in and made the stop. Might have put in his AI. All right, good luck. All right, good luck, Remy. All right, who else we got in here who wants to chat? I got airtime to fill. Come on, y'all never shut up in the damn room. Now I'm asking for someone to talk to me. You guys won't say nothing.
I love it when I have to jerry-rig stuff together.
Are you still in the car? Are you in the car, TS?
No.
No. Okay.
I got probably another... I'd say I'm going to get in at 150 and then run to the end. Because that'll be my hour.
So yeah, killing time, interviewing people. Let's see. It's your second season in the SCL. You've been getting quicker. Got in as an alternate here tonight. Your impressions, what you've been running, what series you like. Floor is yours.
Been running... Oh, sorry. mostly run Camel GT series. I really enjoy that because of the endurance race factor. You never know. I say this a lot of times to many people that I race with is you never know what's going to happen in an endurance race. The guy leading could be 20 seconds ahead of you and 1 gallon of fuel left, and next thing you know, you're passing him, coming to the checkered flag out of the last corner.
So with all the disciplines that we run, obviously, you consider yourself a sports car driver primarily.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
That's how we have it set up. We have it set up old school style. Everybody's got a specialty, but in the big events, guys tend to come together, and you get guys from different disciplines. Me, you look at my track record, I've won in everything, and I'm proud of that. But the reality is, I'm an IndyCar driver who can pull something out of his ass in the other two disciplines once in a while. That's more or less what it is.
I learned that on GT6, which was I ran the final Brickyard 400 and the very last race, which was the IndyCars at Motegi, and everybody was showing up to those races.
That was definitely a sign of how strong SCL is. We were filling rooms, turning away guys in at-large qualifying when you couldn't get a room open on Gran Turismo anymore. You couldn't fill a room if you put GT cars and a free lollipop.
Yeah, it was because I had left a league that was I think somebody left the SCL and started their own league, and I joined that, and that league closed, and one of my friends from that league said, "Hey, come try these guys out." So I did, and that's how I wound up here. And I ran the last 4 races, I think, and on the final season of GT6.
Yeah, you ran the last half of season 21. That was your rookie season, so I'm actually wrong there. You're in your 5th season now. I should have had that number right. I don't know why I said 2nd, but you started to pick up the pace. I think you looked good. I think that joining or forming a team next season would be the next logical step for you. I think with a little help, you'd be able to go even further, because you've definitely shown promise. There's something we call, and it has nothing to do with, we go out into one of the pro-ams or one of the open practices, and some new person comes in, and we watch them, and they go really fast, and we go, whoa. There's guys when they come in and race, and we see how they race, and we go, that's an SCL guy. We know almost right away that's one of us. You have to have a certain mentality to want to do this kind of thing and do it right, and you're one of those guys. You can tell right away.
There's a few things I'm struggling with, as in pit stops and tire pressures and everything, but it'll all come eventually. Just gonna take a lot of time.
And like I said, teaming up is going to help you with that a lot. There's no big secret to how to do that. I'll tell you the same thing I tell anybody else. If you're still running independent in the off season, get me in a test room, and I won't give people what I'm doing, but I'll show you how to test. I'll show you, this is how you find what you want to run. There's a system to it. This is how you find your tire pressures. This is how you find your wheel settings. And I'll show you how. I'll teach you. I won't give you a fish, but I'll give you a fishing pole. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we can help you out with that.
I'll give a little credit to Shano. He helped me with some stuff Friday night, I think it was, that I went and I come here in the Ferrari and I went, wow, this feels amazing. And then I did testing on the Ford GT and the Corvette, and they just didn't feel the same as the Ferrari.
I hear you. But like I said, I think you've been doing really promising, and hopefully you'll have a good race tonight. You got in here, and we're coming down to the end of the first hour. The sun's going down. We're on watching our current GTE leader stay down, who I believe is still in the car. He's pulling out a bit of a lead on Pogo now, as these guys currently running Shano, the pole sitters, back and forth with his AI in. Track temperature steadily dropping. I I think you do a good job on here, TS. You should talk to us sometime about joining the SCL media team and doing broadcasts. And I think you got the good mind for it if you're interested.
I'm looking at track temp right now, and it's 80 degrees, and ambient is 73, and I'm thinking, wonder if it's time for softs yet.
That's possible. We'll definitely seeing everybody churning the ideas. But yeah, give it some thought. We'd love to have you on board the media department. I like doing these things. I'm looking to expand it more going into season 26. A bunch of us are, actually. I shouldn't say me.
Because I recently started my own YouTube channel just to put a couple races up there. Obviously, I'm slow at uploading races. I've got the touring car race, Grand Am race from Laguna Seca that's still in the pipeline, and then last night's race is waiting to be uploaded as well.
Yeah, and if we can get you, we'll get you hooked up with the SCL Racing Network YouTube stuff, so you can broadcast directly to it. That'll put you straight on there.
I don't know if I got the ability to broadcast, because the way
your internet works. We'll see. We can give it a shot, though. Doesn't hurt to try it in some support races.
That's why I've wanted to do sometime in a practice session, do a test stream to see if I'm lagging or jumping all over the place. Because right now I'm running off an iPad RS Dash and watching the race and running online here.
I gotcha. But yeah, we'll give it a shot. We'll get you hooked up with the YouTube and start broadcasting it and see if it works out. You know, if we have any problem, we'll do it on some support races anyway. But we're back on board here. It's PT's moved into second in the GTE class. I believe he's still on board. I could be wrong. Him or his co-driver you're watching on board the Ferrari in the cockpit. That's something that in the real world racing, Ferrari needs to recommit to sports cars.
I'll mention this to you. In the real world, Ford GT pulled their program yesterday.
Yep, and therein lies the ultimate. Sports car racing has its strength. Its biggest strength is its biggest weakness, and that's the diversity of equipment manufacturers. Manufacturers will always be fickle. They'll set up a 2-year program. If it doesn't work for them, something isn't right, they can't use it to advertise and sell cars, they'll pull out, leaving the racing. That's the reason why racing series, NASCAR, their top division has lasted 70 years. IndyCar, that top division has lasted in one form or another for over 100 years. And with a very strong consistency for the last 20 years and 20 years before that. The problem with sports cars has always been that manufacturer issue. When the inmates start running the asylum, the governing bodies lose control. And that's why I've always been a fan of kind of how we do it. You put me in charge of IMSA, this is what I would do. Prototype class is a chassis-based series. The cars are built by either a central manufacturer that builds chassis like a Riley and Scott or someone like that. And it looks like we've lost our first car just short of the hour mark. En Staza in the GTE class, the longtime veteran and the reigning Bathurst 500 champion, is out. He is.
I just heard that blowing motor.
He blew his motor. Well, back to what I was saying, you'd have a spec chassis like that, and if a manufacturer wanted, the prototypes would be a spec chassis, and the manufacturers could bring a motor in if they wanted, sort of like what you do with it, like an Indy car.
Similar to the prototype challenge guys, they were all same chassis, and Chevrolet had the motor. Yeah,
and you could have different motors come in, like an Indy car, one chassis and in different motors. Then in the GT class, that's where you open things up. The GT class is where you allow the manufacturers. But for the top prototype class, you run it on an IndyCar style system. That, to me, gives you the best of both worlds. If manufacturers start screwing with you down at one season down in the GTs, then your GT entries retract, and you'll have ready-made packages to give to the GT cars that had the manufacturers pull out from underneath them, and then your prototype ranks will swell. That's kind of how we set it up here, but it is what it is. Anyway, stay down. He's let's take a look at his car. He's on board currently in the GTE lead. I'm assuming you just got out of the car. Stay down.
I've been on it since 213. I've been just sitting and watching it. But I got lucky. I was behind Pogo, and he got taken out not once but twice by another AI. So I've been getting lucky. Me and Pogo had a good race.
There's a long way to go, though, man. You never know what's going to happen here. But yeah, good start to you. Parc Ferme rules. You were comfortable on the qualifying trim at the start? Because it seemed like you fell back.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't comfortable at first. I had to adjust my brake bias a little bit farther forward. I had it just a tiny bit too far in the back, and it made all the difference in the world. I was real loose at the start, and I made a couple clicks, and it helped. But yeah, I didn't get a good start. I was in second gear, and I thought I was in third gear, and I didn't
work for
really
you.
Work out.
Yeah. Well, what I'm looking for here is obviously when you get back in, you're going to have your setup. Obviously, I want to ask you details about what that is, but you're going to have your car set up when you get back in. You're going to be on a cooler track. You feel confident in the car you got for when you can shake off the Parc Ferme rules and put on what you want.
Pretty good, yeah, pretty good. It's actually not much different than the defaults. It's got a couple clicks lower on the rear tires, but besides that, it's exactly the same. I think brake bias means more, honestly.
Yeah. So you'll be dialing as the car goes. That's what I'm famous for doing.
Yeah,
fine-tune adjustment. I'll tell you the truth. Running with you guys last night in the British Touring Car Championship, and even in some of the Pro-Ams this morning. Congratulations on the win in the Touring Car Championship, by the way. But running in that race, I did what I always do. I started running the same pace as you guys up front with about 15 minutes to go. So the reason I found in those touring cars was, just like you said, dialing in the brakes. When I got the brakes in that sweet spot, that's when I started ticking off quicker laps almost immediately. Yeah. And so I agree with you. In any full-bodied car on a place like this, I will ask you this, Stay Down. You being an SCL veteran, you can give a good answer. We were talking about this earlier in the broadcast, and what I was saying is that at a track like Silverstone, a track that is wide and flat and does not have a lot of camber in any of the turns. You know, Brands Hatch is real narrow, but it has a lot of camber in the turns. A little bit of banking. Right, here and there.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I was saying to the guys that on a wide, flat track like Silverstone, it's tougher on the tires than another place for the reason that if this track was narrower, you wouldn't be flinging the car around as much because you'd have a narrow track to work with. But when a track is flat and wide, it encourages you to use a lot of track and therefore use a lot of car on that track. Do you agree with that assessment?
I do, yeah. We're flinging the car a lot. The tires tend to not burn so much, though, as far as I was running, I don't know if it was just what I had dialed in, but I was running some of my fastest laps closer to the end with about 20 liters, 15 liters left in the fuel. It's 154. I wish it would show when. I definitely, I don't know if that was just because I was so loose.
Check out the timings here. Timings at the moment, 154.573. That is the fastest on. I'm not doubting. You obviously have it dialed in there. I have seen on my own in various cars before that you're going to get some cars. You're going to get faster as the fuel burns off, no matter what. The weight is that much more important than the tires. But if you take care of the tires, you will be a half a second faster at the end rather than just 0.2. You understand what I mean? Like if you leave something on
no
it
doubt.
for when the fuel goes off, I found that. Now I don't run GTE class, obviously. I run LMP1 over in Camel GT on the American Tour, but when I have run the full-bodied cars like this, that's what I have found. That I'll use the tires up too much, and then I'll wonder why I'm not going. Guys start pulling away from me at the end of the run because they've got an extra second or an extra 3/4 of a second on the low fuel, and I only got 1/4 of a second. That's what I used to do a lot in these cars. But either way, you're running well. You got the lead. My timings on the board here, I do not believe are accurate. According to this, it says 27 seconds. I don't think it's that much. It's definitely not that much.
Seconds,
It's
yeah,
definitely
for
not
me,
that much.
Or for the leader either, I bet either.
The
timings.
reason for that's because he's been lapped so many times, and someone else probably hasn't been lapped behind him yet. Again, so it's just
that sorted itself out. It looks like it's more like 10 or 12 seconds, but either way, we'll get it sorted. He's running well up there, so best of luck to you. Good race. Anyway, jumping back on Gunter, currently put his AI in just past the 2 hours remaining mark, running 5th in class. Gunter, second season driver, I believe. We'll shoot the same. You made a debut last season though, didn't you? Gotcha. So you're a rookie this season. All right. So we'll give you the same questions we had everybody else as we're watching your BMW powering around here with your pay-for-play co-driver. The Parc Fermé rules, running out on the qualifying trim. Did you have a hard time on those tires at the beginning? And how did the run play out for you? Yeah, it seems like I like driving that car. I believe that's the same BMW M3 that I myself drove to a win in the California Grand Prix at Willow Springs back in season 21 on GT6. Warren can correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's the same car or close to it.
It's not really.
No, not the same one.
No.
But I'm a fan. I like the BMWs. I think what we're gonna see though. Obviously, guys made their pit stops. They probably put their shaking off the Parc Fermé. They got tire pressures going on, tire compound changes. Do you anticipate being able to pull out some more speed due to that as the race goes on, Gunter, when you get back in? Yeah, it looks like according to the best lap times that we're looking at now, the top 4 in class are in a class of their own, but it looks like a hell of a battle shaken down for a top 5 finish in class between yourself, Rita Average, a bunch of other guys. But like I said, that's also taken into account that I think some of these guys, and I'm going to say almost certainly can tell you that Rita, Average Gamer, those two, and probably Remy and TS as well, and maybe yourself, they're definitely, the Parc Fermé rules caught them out. I won't deny that. They I think are going to get quicker. As a matter of fact, average gamers laps are dropping as we speak, and I think we're going to see more of that as the race goes on. But as I said, International Tour is looking for its own flavor. Rolex Endurance Cup is obviously the counterpart to Camel GT on the American Tour, but it has its own sort of feel, and we'll just have to see. Good luck to you. I think you're running a good race, and there's definitely going to be a hell of a battle for that top 5 as we're going. Warren's in here now, I believe. Warren, let me get on board with you here. 4th place in class. Impressions of the race so far?
Well, for me personally, it hasn't been the best. I mean, got stuck behind Dirty Air in the first part of the race and caught me out. But Baron, O'Brien, Hosick, they found lap time that I just couldn't find yet. Until I went and watched their stream, unfortunately, to figure out what they're doing. Which, I mean, you stream it, it's part of the rule. You can go watch it. So I figured out what I need to do right next lap. But so far, it's been pretty good. A lot of the AIs have been very aggressive, that's for sure. Rita's Lord Farquaad is doing what he needs to do right now. But it's been pretty good.
Yeah, looking pretty sharp. I think the track has been steadily cooling as the darkness falls. Might be some more grip coming in there. Of course, the AI has the times all shuffled up. We won't see till the last 40 minutes or so as people start coming together how the race shakes out. O'Brien, meanwhile, in the pits. I'm not sure if he's getting back in the car yet.
Yeah, he's in the pits again. This is his second time in the pits in the last 8 laps.
I think he's trying to split up his time out. He is back in the car himself now, I believe. Looks like it. Let's go ahead and get in the cockpit with O'Brien running in Audi, running 3rd overall, the current Rolex Endurance Cup champion and points leader. As you can see on the track map where he is at, under the Silverstone Bridge.
Alright, time for me to head back to the garage.
Alright, good luck, man. Got the little man heading downstairs, so I'm going to take a mute break real quick.
I'm taking a food break pretty soon. You know, with the AI going so slow, I'm kind of hoping he can run the whole hour on one stint. That'd be cool, because the way these tires change on the GTE, it's the same as the NASCAR. So every time you gotta change tires, it's not as slow as the NASCAR, but every time you gotta change tires, it's 5, 6, 10 seconds. Yeah. Probably 10 seconds. So I hope he can just run this out. And why the AI's tires are burning so much? The tires are already halfway gone almost, so I'm not sure about the whole hour. The AI is going to come pit himself for tires. Do they do that? Do you think they pit themselves for tires?
No, but they pit themselves for fuel though.
Okay, well that's good. I got it.
Once it gets down to 10 liters, they'll pit themselves.
Oh really? They can't run it down to. They can't run it down to like 1 lap. Bunch of bitch ass drivers. Damn.
Nope, 10 liters.
Okay, that's good knowledge. It's almost gonna be. I'm like 10 minutes away from 30 minutes, and I've only used like 40 liters.
No.
Oh,
almost killed Shano again. Jesus Christ.
I've been getting lucky. Still sitting out here with a big lead in the GTE. I'm not even sure if they're in the cars or not. I'm pretty sure Shano's been in the car. He must have got killed. Is Shano? You think Shano's in the car? I mean, he's just not in here.
So not too bad on the attrition, just Staza blowing his Aussie motor. For Renaissance Racing anyway. Hopefully Shano doesn't have the same problem.
That's what happens when you don't put the right money in building motors.
This is the part of the race, though, in one of these races I think is vitally important because, you know, there's being patient. There's telling yourself that, you know, it's a long race. You know, every second I lose trying to get by this car, somebody else is losing it, getting by this traffic too. You know, it's just be patient. There's a long way to go. It all comes back together in the last half hour. The thing is, though, is you also have to remind yourself that, you know, it's like the innings in a baseball game, you know. You give up 6 runs in the 3rd inning, the game might be over before you even got started. Here, these laps you're putting in now matter. Get into a zone, get consistent, but don't get into a lull. Don't start ticking off, you know. Don't get lazy around the traffic. Don't start ticking off. If you'll I've seen myself do it where all of a sudden you realize the last 3 laps you've run half a second slower. You know, little things like that make a difference, and I think that's the part of the race. That's the part of the race you're in right now. If you're in the car, not the co-driver, just tick off good laps. Realize that, you know, I always try personally in a race like this. I try to set a goal, even if it's a co-driver's car I'm chasing. Doesn't matter. I look at the interval, I see what I'm doing, and I set a goal. The next 5 laps, I want to be, you know, 3 seconds closer. You know, something like that, just to keep myself in the game.
Yeah, that's something that helps me since I drive on no assist. The feel for the car is always there. Every lap I'm on edge trying to make sure, because if I'm going maximum speed, I'm about ready to spin out, so I'm making sure the car doesn't spin out, making sure it hit the bottom. I don't know.
Absolutely.
That's one reason why I don't drive the LMPs, because I couldn't do it without assists. I just drive these. You can do these without assist, the GTEs. Dude, we had some good racing at the V8s the other night too. Some damn good racing. It was.
Yeah, V8 World Tour is a promising series.
It is. Those road courses are nice, and you know what? I bet it runs at Texas too.
They do.
At Texas.
Actually, there are plans, if the V8 World Tour gets properly launched, that they will run a schedule that includes at least a few speedway races.
Right on. Daytona, they'd definitely be maxed out, but Texas, I'm sure it would be quite fun.
Texas and Indy are an almost certainty.
Indy, they top out.
Do they top out at Indy?
They do.
Well, then they would definitely run Texas.
In the road courses, they're definitely so much better than the stock car.
They're the best touring car in the game.
That's a good car. V8.
Which
you and me differ on that one. No, it's a good car. I'm not gonna lie to you about that, but it's the best touring car in the game.
Which one would you pick above it?
One of the probably the Audi DTM.
That's true. I mean, that's a good car too. But for our purposes, class,
oh yeah,
you know, that kind of stuff.
See, for SCL, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ryan's out of his AI's done.
Yeah, I think he's in the car.
Shane. He was in the lead for the GTE, and his AI's already done. I peeped when he put him in, when he put him out. It's already been an hour. He's on the track for the rest of the race, and I still got a lot more AI to go.
You know, Shane O'Brien, those guys with the early strategy. We'll see how that works out for them. As moving forward, I think it just depends on what you're getting with the lack of any real significant weather changing. It changes up the prognosis for what the track will look like. I think the AIs are actually, we knew they were slower. Obviously, we call them what you want, co-drivers, AM class drivers. But they're not doing too bad as far as maintaining a consistent pace. And
no doubt.
As a result, you're getting, you're seeing, I think I've seen guys not gain as quick as they thought they would because they use the tires up a lot, which is actually why the AM class designation is a pretty good one. But when their tires are good, when you get them out and the car's there for them, they run a good second and a half quicker, and that can help out it.
Oh god, we're going 3 wide. We're going. Oh, you thought about it.
Colin Shana is talking about changing out the AI, because there's been a lot of incidents of them just ramming up GTE's class.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. It's probably a good idea to mess with that stuff, but that's the numbers that our guys tested out, and he's one of them.
Oh yeah.
So it is what it is.
He said he was going to test some more for the next Rolex race. No, I just need to run 32 minutes. Oh, let my driver run. Gosh, I have a driver run 32 minutes. I shall be right.
Gonna get interesting to see who had the right pit strategy. Towards the end of the race, somebody's gonna be coming up short or something. It's gonna be all kinds of short on fuel, or I mean, it's gonna be all kinds of.
I make myself a little plate of nachos.
I think
add some extra weight to the car, you know.
Hey Colin, I think HPT and Shano put the wrong numbers in.
What's that, Warren?
245 and 244.
What's that, Warren?
Fucking these AI, yeah, no. Yeah, it's just, I think that, well, for one, yeah, definitely the AI needs to be down for Le Mans, but two, I think O'Brien, him pitting way early in this race, I think it's going to come back to bite him.
It's possible he might add a stop. We don't know. But everybody might have to add a stop to make the time in that class for the co-driver. I'm not 100% certain. We'll have to see how it plays out there.
I screwed myself over by making another stop. I didn't swap my driver. I lost a lot of time doing that. I made 2 stops there.
We're getting close to the halfway mark. 138. Watching Hossack, who's taken over the LMP lead. I'm not certain if he's in the car or if his AI is in or not. Judging by the lap time, I believe it's his AI, and O'Brien has been chopping his way in since he's back in the car. And Stay Down remains the GTE leader as we approach halfway. I'm going to mute the mic and attempt to eat my slice of pizza without a 3-year-old snatching it out of my hands and running off with it, which he will do. Me, I'd have got put through the damn wall if I tried that when I was 3 years old. Him, I just laugh and go, "Give me back my goddamn pizza, you little bastard." But I'm going to put it on mute and let these guys run it out.
Is this behind me? Oh, Hossack. Oh, just jump past me, please. Oh, thank God.
Yep, I had to just hand it over to him and grab another slice. Some bitch tried to grab it.
Yeah, so I just talked to Shano. My AI literally just annihilated him through cops. Poor lad went flying. You there, Colonel?
Yeah, I'm here.
I just realized it's gonna get interesting for Hasek. His car just went below 10 liters and his AI's in. And he's not at his time yet, so we'll see if the car pits this lap or not.
That's a good question.
I laid in stone. I'm like, look, we did it last season where I was like, hey, 10 liters left and the car pits. So we'll see. He's gonna stay out another lap.
But he lost a ton of time on his first pit stop. He overshot the stall and then overshot it on the way back.
Oh.
So he probably lost 7-8 seconds in the pits. So that was definitely, he's trying to make up for that now. Other than that, he's been driving smoothly as he always does, but
it's his AI in right now, I think.
Yeah, AI, I believe, is in there. Baron, I believe, is back in the car because well, maybe not.
Nope, he's out of the car too.
O'Brien's in, and he's been chopping up that lead down to 12 seconds now. O'Brien's been great in the Rolex Endurance Cup races.
Yeah, he's been lights out almost. Like I said, he can be leading this race, but I think he's still got an extra pit stop for pitting so early.
I definitely have to put that in there, try to build up enough of a lead to where it don't matter. Have a splash ready, get that JME crew to get you in and out quick. Do you play it smart? I've been in that situation before when you have a splash, and anybody listening might learn something here, but this is something I try to do. If you know you're not going to make it, and you have a splash stop to make, you're not going to change tires, you're just taking enough fuel. Unless you're on some kind of a pit window strategy or you're trying to undercut or short pit, stay out as long as possible. Number one, you're not changing tires anyway, you might as well run it all the way out of fuel. Number two, make those guys behind you play the psychological game. Remember, we used to say this back in the GT6 days. Some guys cannot stand seeing a plus or a minus next to their interval on the board. They can't stand being behind, even if they know that they're off cycle or I'm going to make this 5 seconds back. They have a tough time racing at somebody rather than with them. And so put the psychological in there of making them chase the board while you're out there and pit as late as possible. So that you just got to, come in, make that quick stop, but make them think about it the whole time. Now, there's situations where you don't do that, but if I was in O'Brien's shoes here where you're thinking there's a possibility of a late splash stop here that you're going to have to make, that's how you want to do it. These guys are getting nervous now, sitting there in their garage, watching that interval drop as it is. And we've seen a very big change in the lap times among the cars up front, have we not? I mean, the fastest ones were 138. These guys, even the cars in there, are running slower than that now. still don't have a good interval here. Maybe the timings board will give me one.
Yeah, if we're running on average a 142, 144 or 142 now, that the track's gotten a lot more rubber and stuff, I doubt it's gonna. Put Barron back in the car, he's gonna find out they're running 130. You know, he's just that kind of guy. But if the times are dropping off, I think the Porsche is gonna shine at night. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping. Question is, do I put softs or hards on?
That's the. I think there's 14 drivers that have been thinking that.
Yeah.
One way or another. Stay down there on the
I
track.
actually tested the softs and they actually make you slower for some reason.
It depends on the driver.
It depends on how rubbered in this track gets too.
Let's get on board with Rita running 5th in class right now. Chasing down Shayna. Somebody's mic is making a lot of noise.
That's average. There you go. Yeah, it's Lord Farquaad in the car right now.
Yeah.
Just imagine a 5-foot guy with a full haircut sitting in the front seat of that thing.
You mean pretty much every Formula One driver from about 1960 to 1980?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, looks like TS a lap down, 9th in class, trying to get by Remy, who might be an AI driver. No, actually, I don't think he is. This might be a battle on the track between two SCL drivers. Although TS is a lap down, I believe he's off sequence by quite a bit. That's the reason.
Yeah, they've been battling each other for a while.
So he's still got a chance to climb back up a little bit. We got 2 cars in the pits, Hossack and Barron. The Apex car is obviously synced up, and they're not missing the stall since it's the they're not missing the stall since it's the AI driver creeping down the pit lane. But let's see how it pulls out. They came in practically together after Barron had a significant lead over Hossack, so it looks like his AI handled him. Is there a tire change? I see the fuel coming out. They might be making their tire change now as well, and that puts
be a tire change.
Yeah.
There's no way.
They're making their tire change now on the second stop, and it's probably the only one they're going to make. There goes Barron out very quickly. He's going to move back up into 3rd as Warren's co-driver passes them, and that puts O'Brien into the lead. He's 43 seconds up on my board. That is likely off sequence though, so we'll see how that sorts itself out. Barron and Haas back onto the track. Barron's got back by Warren's AI.
I just don't know how he's finding that speed. I really don't. I'm about to kill Remy's AI. Well, we got by all right. There.
O'Brien's starting to bring the laps down now too.
I'm gonna put my AI driver on. I put him in at 142, so 42. So I've got to come in at about an hour and 10 minutes.
I got 3 minutes till my pit stop.
And then you're done.
Yeah, and that's a good thing because the Porsche runs so much longer in field than the other cars do.
Yeah.
Because they came in at 29 after, I came in at 23 after. So I ran a good 7 more minutes longer. Porsche's got the
15
better
minutes.
gas tank. No, because they came in at 29, I came in at 23.
No, I'm talking about me, sorry.
Ah. Oh dear. I'll get back in the car.
Hey, good luck, Warren. Give him hell. Like we got a battle on the track. It's PT, probably an AI, working against Pogo Gun for second in class, just past the halfway point. Gets to the inside. Completes the pass on Pogo Gun. A lot of guys still got their AIs in, getting sorted out, getting ready to get the SCL drivers back in. We got a car in the pit. That's going to be Warren Kyle Keith, who will be making his driver change here. Pulling into the JME pits. Warren will be getting back in and running out the duration here, the last hour 22 of the British Sports Car Championship for the SCL Season 25. Somebody's excited over there.
10 minutes away from my driver change. All fueled up and ready to go. Nachos. Man, I've had a stroke of luck, dude. My AI has not had any problems. I'm still on track, 10 to a minute ahead of next place. Man.
Looking good. Have to see how it sorts out. Some of those guys are off sequence with you.
My AI's almost done, though. I reckon as soon as I get back in the car, I'm not losing more than 10 seconds at most.
Are you certain that you haven't lost a pit stop?
I went as far as I could go. And my AI is gone a whole hour now by himself. Almost. I don't know, I'm hoping I haven't missed a pit stop, but I'm not certain. No.
I'm not saying that because I know that or anything. I'm just saying when the intervals are this split, it generally means that people are off sequence.
Yeah,
I got
no
Ben
doubt.
in the pit, 5th place in the LMP class. See if this
I'm
is a
betting on
driver
me
change.
going all the way is the best. I pretty much did the best I can do for me.
Yeah, there you go. You're in good position right now.
Oh, there we go. I think I finally see the next car. I'm going into the S's while he's turning. I'm not sure what that corner is, but he's going around the... I don't fucking know. I'm just gonna shut up. I don't know what the fucking corners are called.
Oh, it looks like Ben's back in the car.
There we go.
Shano 4th in the GTE class, dealing with a couple of prototypes that are right on top of each other. Warren and
This is a
Ben a
battle
lap
for
apart.
7th between my AI driver and Gunter human.
Let's get on board.
Oh man, 420.
Get on board here with Gunter. Battle for 7th in class. A lot of these guys
There we
way
go.
off. There he makes the move. A lot of these guys are way off sequence, so we're gonna see things change up quite a bit towards the last hour as people's pit stops cycles come back together.
Still got 9 more minutes to go. Feels so well.
Meanwhile, back up front, O'Brien still maintaining the gap. He has got his co-driver time done, I believe, and is in the car the rest of the way. He's holding a little over 40 seconds over the pole sitter Barron. But the question is he on sequence with the pit stops? That's the big question right here. Not sure, but we're just going to have to see how this plays out. Well, full darkness now on Silverstone. Lights are on. Track cooling just a little bit. Not a dramatic drop. We've seen about a 5-degree drop in track and ambient temperature, which is a negligible effect. I think the rubber laid down on the live track. Rubber and grease laid down is probably making more of an effect than the temperature right now.
Yeah, these AIs put a lot of rubber on the track.
Oh yeah, they do.
Really amateur drivers.
Oh yeah, definitely amateur class drivers.
It's pretty crazy the difference. I ran a whole run and the amount of tires I used was negligible. I thought maybe I could run a whole other 45 laps on them or 45 minutes on them, and the AI gets in here and it just burns them to the ground in the same amount of time.
Yeah, pretty much. Car's pretty well spread out at this point. We're going to see that change, as I said, coming down towards the end. Back on board, stay downs.
2 laps away from getting out.
Back on watching here, GTE leader, stay downs, co-driver for Team Dana Moore is in there. He'll be, as he said, getting back in the car here shortly. Has a sizable lead. But we're not sure about the pit sequencing. Same thing with O'Brien up front in the LMP class. So tonight's British Sports Car Championship definitely by no means decided up and down the board. Points very valuable in the Rolex Endurance Cup on top of everything else. But those top 4 in GTE have been in a class of their own. Stay down, It's PT, Pogo, and Shano. Shano pitted from the lead very early and got his AI out of the way, I believe. And
Yeah, he did.
you got to watch him. He is an excellent Rolex Endurance Cup racer. He's a former Bathurst 500 champion, Camel GT champion. And one of the ones he's chasing, though, here, Stay Down, the current Winston Cup points leader. Watching to see when he's coming in here.
I gotta go one more. 213. I'm looking for 113.
So it looks like one more lap for Stay Down's AI.
Sounds about right. Yep. I just looked at Shane's times. He's running a 2-minute lap. I'm checking the messages again. I'm not sure if I read it correctly now. Let's see. So he says, AI in 245. AI out 245. He said it again. He meant 145.
Yeah.
Alright, so that is him. Alrighty. Last lap. Its PT's been creeping up a little closer on my time. He must have his driver in. It's gonna be interesting to see if he has any AI left. He's probably, I'm looking at it, he's gonna go past me in my pit stop.
And it looks like you're gonna have at least one of them move, possibly. It depends on if you're making a tire change or not, but
We'll need to. Tires are done, thanks, amateur driver. Alright.
Yep.
I'm headed in the pits, head to the garage. I'll catch you guys.
Alright, good luck, Stay Down. He's 100% confident he's going to be on the podium, but he's looking like he will. Yeah, good luck, Average. You still got you're still in the running for a top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I'm really hoping. I'm just crossing my fingers.
Stay Down making a full fuel tire and driver change. He's going to be in for a while, and we're going to see its PT pass him right there to take the lead.
Shane should get past. No, I'll pass Shane's behind him.
Shano's a ways back. I'm not sure if he's going to make it there or not, but its PT has taken the class lead. Let's get in the cockpit of his Ferrari. PT, as I said, multiple-time winner in the Camel GT Series. He's also won on the International Tour, and now he's back up front. Meanwhile, Barron chopping down time. He's down to 31 seconds. I believe O'Brien is catching some traffic at bad times, and Barron has moved in on him steadily over the last 40 minutes or so. Chopped about 8 seconds off the interval. PT looks like he came out. It says 8 seconds. I don't quite believe that. It's a little more than 8 seconds. Let's put it back on track side here.
When you press the pause menu, it says it's about 30 seconds between its PT and Stay Down. Would that sound about right?
That looks closer to it to me. It's cycling through right now on the scoring monitor, so we'll have to wait and see.
And Shano's about 14 seconds behind, I think, behind Stay Down. And Reed is another 20 seconds behind.
Let me check the timing board.
Okay. Next time around, I will be going for my stop.
All right, good luck, Average.
Hopefully. It's about 1:20. Yeah, sounds about right. Yep, request stop. Wait, I gotta make sure that my driver. Okay, sport driver's on. Thank God. Wait. Okay, sweet. No, I didn't want to cancel. Stop. No. Wait, no. Come on, Baron, get past me. I can't do anything, Baron. I'm sorry. Oh, Baron's gone around. Baron spun out.
A little half spin there by Baron.
Right in front of me. Oh, right in front of my co-driver.
Not back in the car yet, Remy?
For how long, Remy? How long you your co-driver in for? And how long does your AI driver need to stay in for?
Are you going to get back in? Awesome. Well, we'll see you get out there and tear it up. You're still in contention for a top 5 here. Everything's way off sequence right now, so it's real hard to tell where people are in the long run.
Okay, well, I'm going back to the track now.
All right.
Colin,
Good luck, Average. You like this kind of race? Yeah, I hear you. All right, O'Brien gave up the lead there to make a pit stop with 1:07 to go. Can he make it on one more stop? I believe he can. The question is, when are Barron and Hossack going to have to stop? With the board right now, it's tough to tell who's where. But Barron has reclaimed the lead in LMP1 on the pit stop. O'Brien just a couple of seconds back. And they're dueling now. We're coming down on 1 hour to go in the SCL 25 British Sports Car Championship. In the booth here with Remy, who's got his guy out there running 6th overall. He'll be getting back in the car here in the last hour. There's Shano moved up to 3rd. As you can see, him and Stay Down easily cracking the 2-minute barrier in the GTEs now that they're back in the car and rearing and ready to go. Rita's moved up to 4th. Pogo Gun currently sitting in 5th. Running a very solid pace. Brian lost a little time, a 1:45 out lap from the pit. Cold tires definitely affected him on that one. He just wants to keep this close and let this play out. Battle with Barron up front. And Brian comes in with a 3-point lead on Hossack, I believe, 4 points on Barron in the Rolex Endurance Cup. Things were to stay right where they're at now, he would take a 1-point lead into the final round of the series at Le Mans. But I know he'd rather win here and give himself a little cushion. But Barron's running blistering laps. He's just been a little bit erratic at times on the track. But the number of laps they've put in, 65 on the board so far here in the LMP1s. I'm going to lock on to the leader here. Remy, I'm going to take a quick, well, I can put it on my phone. I need to take a little bathroom break. You guys are watching along as we get down to the final hour here, guys. You're watching the British Sports Car Championship on the SCL Racing Network. All right, Carlin Hicks back in the booth with you as we head into the last hour of the SCL Season 25 British Sports Car Championship, the fourth round of the SCL Season 25 Rolex Endurance Cup. You're on board there with Baron von Stoss, our overall leader. Still on those intervals, guys. Scoring and timing a little off, but at the same time, we've got quite a few cars off sequence. Most of the guys are SCL drivers back in the car, the AI code drivers, which have to do a minimum of 1 hour out of the 3 hours in the car. There's a handful of drivers that have gotten both of those out of the way so far. I've gotten that whole hour out of the way. But meanwhile, the two classes just running down the last hour. We've got getting down to the nitty gritty, and you're going to start to see people pulling together, I think, here in the next half hour or so as the pit cycles come back around. But we'll have to see what plays out here. Those of you that are watching that are interested, check out the SCL. Obviously, like and subscribe here on the YouTube channel, the SCL Racing Network. We've also got our website, sundaycupleague.wix.com/SCRN. Just Google Sunday Cup League, all one word. It'll be the first thing that comes up. That's our website. It has all of our specs, standings, archives, rules, everything that's made SCL what it is. 25 seasons and almost 10 years of championship sim racing, coming to you from PlayStation and the Project Cars game. Aaron stretching his lead. I'm not sure if he's done with his AI yet or not. Have to check the message board as we race control as we get down into this last hour. But at the moment, as full darkness has fallen here on Silverstone, he's tearing it around this Grand Prix circuit. When we get back here in a few minutes after the camera break to the rest of the battles, GTE is going to be heating up here. As you can see on the intervals there, it's BT still leading, stay down second. Shano, the early leader, pitted earlier than anybody, is in third. So we got a long way to go. A long way behind us as well. Those of you enjoying the Rolex Endurance Cup races, I believe 3 weeks from tonight is the final round of this series. The 4 Hours of Le Mans, in which they'll be going for that prestigious title in the fourth running of the SCL 4 Hours of Le Mans. Tire wear is certainly a factor while the co-drivers were in the car, but I believe these guys are looking to sort that out now themselves. They're doing a good job taking care of the tires when the SCL pros are in there, but definitely seen some wear changes, wide variances in lap times due both to traffic and tire wear, although the cars get quicker when the fuel comes off most of the time. Next weekend, full slate of events on the SCL American Tour on Sunday, a week from tomorrow. The SCL 25 Brickyard 400, one of the biggest races in the league for the Winston Cup Series in the stock cars at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then it's out at Sonoma, where the Camel GT Series will be competing in the Sonoma Super Prix, and on Saturday night and on Friday night. The SCL IndyCar Series will run the inaugural Sonoma Indy 300, round 9 of the championship in all those series. And we've also got some special events on the international tour to be announced right there at Sonoma on Sunday, 1 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. We will have the SCL Formula One North American Grand Prix from Sonoma Raceway. And I believe we're going to have announcements in the next day or two about possible special events with V8 World Tour races and maybe even sports cars this weekend. I believe V8 World Tour may be running an event on Friday at Sonoma as well, making a stop with the American Tour there. But getting to the last 2 weeks of season 25, all the championships are well and truly on the line. Those of you watching here are sports car enthusiasts in the American Tour Sports Car Championship, the Camel GT Series, the car you're watching, Baron von Stosch, in a tooth and nail battle with TOW Racing's Twindy One for that LMP1 class championship. They have won 7 of the 8 rounds between them. And that's looking to be a heck of a battle going in these last 2 races of that series at Sonoma and Texas Motor Speedway Road Course. Let's get a chance here as I'm cycling my way through all this stuff to move in the field a little bit. Let's go take a look back at the GTE. Leaders, they're very spread out at the moment. That's its PT. 4th season in the SCL, is winner 3 or 4 times in the Camel GT Series, including just last round at Watkins Glen in Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. This is a talented driver, leader of extreme speed motorsport. Can be a bit inconsistent at times, but he has got excellent pace. And right now he's sitting in the driver's seat, but with cycles yet to be played out, we'll have to see what happens in the series of pit stops here. But he's got that Ferrari running well here in the Silverstone night. But Shane O'Kano's the one to watch back there. He was in the lead, had a comfortable lead, pitted early, has been at the back of that front group of GTE cars ever since. And I'm just thinking he's got something once the cycles come back together. But we'll have to wait and see. Either way, it's been an entertaining race, and this is why we feel SCL Racing Network provides the best in sim racing. Close racing, driver-based, spec cars with minor modifications. It's all about strategy. And strategy is going to play something as we get down towards the end here. We've seen this happen many times. Need I remind you guys, just end of last season at the 4 hours of Le Mans, after 4 hours and nearly an hour and a half of co-drivers, O'Brien held off Hossack by 0.8 of a second at the line to win the overall at the 4 hours of Le Mans last season. So definitely going to see some fantastic finish here, I believe, in both classes. But we got to wait for it to sort out right now. Right now, it's just about being smooth, getting everything lined up, knowing what you want to do in the last pit stop. Taking 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires, fueling up. Do you need to make any more driver changes? every one of these things is going to be a significant factor towards the end of this race. I'll take a look at it here in my notes for you. Give you guys some classic SCL statistics and attention to detail. You can see on the season in the point standings in the 3 rounds thus far of the Rolex Endurance Cup. That's the Bathurst 500 and the V8 cars, the Daytona Continental for the Camel GT Series over on the American Tour, and the earlier 4 hours of Spa before tonight's race. But we'll take a look at those point tables real quick. Provided it wants to work. Yes, I do in fact want to look at these. I have a listing of my winners, but we know O'Brien was a winner. We know Hossack and Barron were winners. These guys are just cycling down. It's been a long race, driver fatigue setting in. The changing of the track as it's cooled off, as I said, not been dramatic as it has been in some other rounds. We've definitely seen it over on the American Tour and the Camel GT Series throughout the season. Rain, track temperature changes, whatnot. We've seen cars get pretty differential. Hadn't been that way today because we had just an absolutely gorgeous weather forecast. A 5 p.m. Start time on the in the live time in the game, and getting dark. It was a light cloud cover throughout the race. Just a beautiful day, beautiful evening for a race, and these guys have had it. We've had very few major incidents. The only major incident was early in the race, about 10-12 minutes in. Average Gamer spun his Porsche in the GTE class and got T-boned by the car you're looking at now. It's PT. SCL runs these races without damage on. Time you lose is plenty of damage, and this makes the sim better because you can get the car going and finish your race, get back into it. That's why we have so many guys finish. Very little attrition, 15 starters, just 1 DNF so far. Enstaza, the reigning Bathurst champion, blew his motor about an hour in, but we've still got 14 cars on the track. Time to get back to the track here. I'll put my stuff on charge so that I don't lose contact with you guys mid-race here. Hopefully. And let's cycle through. Well, Barron and Hossack, obviously Hossack in the pits now as we speak. I'm missing that. He's making a, we'll tell you if there's a driver change. I'm imagining it's just fuel here. And that's definitely Haas in the car. Barron just made his stop apparently. And with 40 5 minutes to go. Can he go the distance? That's the question. I don't know. That seems like might be a little bit far. He may need to make a splash and go stop. Him and Hossack both. Warren, meanwhile, 17 seconds back, and Ben a lap down in 5th place in the class. But O'Brien back up to the lead. We've seen no significant changes here. Other than that, Barron and Hossack pitted. I don't know if they got enough to make it without another stop. I believe that O'Brien almost certainly has to stop. O'Brien definitely has to stop again. So this is going to be very interesting coming down the stretch here to see who ends up where. O'Brien passing some traffic here. But we'll have to see that here as we're down to the last 45 minutes here in the 3 hours. All right, it's PT. Let's see. Look for the arrow on the map. Trying to give you the right call of the map of the track here. As there he's going through, coming up to Woodcote. And the interval is not very large. I believe it's within the range of 14 seconds to stay down. And Shano then a little ways back, just coming into coming up to Maggots and that sort of area. But like I've said, I don't know where he's at on cycle. Shano's been stretching his fuel, running with full tanks. He may have a strategy. There's Pogo a little ways back. I said these interval times are not accurate, I don't believe, as of right now. Let's get on board with Shano here. Cockpit of his Ford GT, the car he won the Camel GTE championship with last season in season 24. Looking at his lap times, like I said, possible he's off sequence as we see Ben at the back of the LMP class making a pit stop. But Shano has got more fuel in his car, I think, than anybody else. Difficult to tell whether he's made a stop, can go all the way. This is coming down to strategy here. And this guy has, in his 4 SCL seasons, become one of the best. Currently the team leader of Renaissance Racing. Reigning Camel GTE champion. He's got the points lead at the moment on repeating here in season 25. After a real terrible start to the season, he went on a 3-race winning streak, and we'll see what he's got here, 3rd in class, making up on him as let's get some time off the interface and just see what he's looking at. Inside the car, coming up to Woodcote. Rear view cameras they have on these cars nowadays. Just smooth as silk. I believe he does have the fastest lap of the race in class at 154.523, narrowly over Stay Down Killing. But I don't believe those intervals. I believe he's closer than that, than 30 seconds. We're going to let the cameras cycle through for you. Shano's been particularly adept in the sports cars. He's shown promise in everything he's run, IndyCar Series, even a little bit of Winston Cup over on the American Tour. The Bathurst win in season 24 was, I think, that in last season's Camel GT Championship. I myself predicted right here on this channel he'd have a breakout season last season, and he did. Got his first points wins, first championship. Right now he's got cars coming up behind him. Driven that Ford GT very well the past couple seasons. Legally going wide using the AstroTurf gives the prototype car a chance to get by, which I believe is Ben. Shano not terribly far ahead. I tell you what I'm going to do here, folks. I'm going to try to sort out this interval situation manually here. Start off here with O'Brien, and I'm going to get on the chase cam with him. And we'll first check his interval to Baron von Stosch as he hits the line now. Go back to Baron. So fairly close. They're off. It's off by about a second or so between those two. But we want to double check here in the GTE class where this sometimes gets a little wonky. And as we're sitting here watching watching its PT in the lead, we're going to give a check here on the interval. When he gets to the start-finish line. I don't think so. Yeah, just about. That split was 19 seconds. And that is not accurate at all. So I'm not really sure. GTE is a little wonked up, but we'll figure it out here coming down towards the finish. When are you getting back in, Remy? 6 minutes. Well, good luck. Go out there and get them. Yeah, good luck, Remy. All right, looks like everybody's got the co-drivers done. going to come down to splashes of fuel, strategies, all these kind of things as to what we're going to see. Let's take a look if I can find these guys on the board. All right, Warren is in the pits. More than likely a fuel stop. I believe he's changed his tires. Trying to climb up onto the podium here and keep his hopes alive in the Rolex Endurance Cup heading to Le Mans. And I think they are making a tire change. He's going for the softs more than likely in that scenario. And we'll see him come shooting out of the pits now. We'll try to get an interval again here on the GTE class as you're once again on board with the GTE leader. It's PT and his Extreme Speed Motorsport Ferrari. Down to the last half hour almost of this 3-hour endurance event. PT in his 4th SCL season. One of a handful of drivers who have won championship events, have won points races in all 3 of the major series in the SCL American Tour, Winston Cup, Camel GT, and IndyCar. First turn there, that's where I'm going to time it from. I'm getting over 20 seconds here. I'm just not sure how accurate any of that is, but as of right now, its PT has been the quickest car on the track in the GTE class as well. He's got a good 15-20 seconds right now. The question is fuel. PT is going to have to pit. Stay down in Shano. Not quite as sure. So Brian working his way through that traffic. His lead, man, he lost about 4 seconds on that last lap through traffic, and Barron's lead is down to, or Barron's deficit, I should say, is down to 9 seconds, as I believe he himself might be getting ready to catch some traffic. Goes to the inside of Pogo. Flashes the thank you as he's trying to get back on it himself. Well, Brian may be making a pit stop soon. There's a question whether the Apex guys, Barron and Hossack, may have to make a splash and go at the end. I can guarantee you O'Brien's pit stop will more than likely be a quick one. Let's see if that JME Motorsports crew can get him in and out quickly when that time comes. We're keeping our eyes on him here. Going around again for sure. Still holding an 11-second lead. Interesting career arc in the SCL for O'Brien. His rookie season was now in his 5th season. His rookie season was season 21. The last season we were on GT6. He made a debut, ran as an independent, gradually got better through the season, became a mid-pack runner. Came over here on the software change on the Project Cars 2, joined up with JME Motorsports, and gradually became more and more competitive. And last season, in season 24, joined the Winner's Circle Club. He won 5 races in the GT3 class in Camel GT Series on the American Tour, took home the class championship, and went on to win at the 4 Hours of Le Mans overall at the end of the season. As we have a pit stop here with It's PT, let's get on the chase and see how quickly he gets in and out. Whether or not there's a tire change here. Is he just going to take a splash here in the last half hour and try to hold on with the rubber that he has? That's a big question. When the fuel comes out. Where's Stay Down? He's about to pass him. I believe It's PT may have needed to put the AI back in. Stay Down pulls into the lead. All right, O'Brien has hit the pit box. Made his splash, and out he comes. We'll see where that sorts out. Remy making a pit stop, getting back in the car to finish the race. He's looking to scratch out a top 5 here in the last half hour. So a lot of excitement still on the track. O'Brien coming back out in 2nd. He's got a pretty good interval on the 3rd place car. And looking at, according to our board, 7 seconds behind Barron. But does Barron have enough fuel to finish the race? That's going to be the big question here. So Stay Down took the lead. Take a look if we can find him on the track. It's PT's not far behind. Shano's a ways back, but maybe the one car that doesn't have to pit. That's going to be the big question here. Don't know, couldn't tell you, but we'll have to see. Let's head back up front as Barron retook the lead here in the P1s. He's got 5 seconds on O'Brien, but does he have enough fuel to make it to the finish? That's going to be the big question. Barron's had an excellent career arc in the league. 4th season. He's won a Winston Cup championship in season 23, Camel GT LMP class championship a season ago, and he's in the battle to try to defend it this season. Due to a number of factors, one of which being that Camel GT did not run multi-class until recently, so there's been a lot more winners. obviously, but that nonetheless doesn't take away from the fact that this season, in fact, Barron moved into first place on the all-time list in the SCL career victories in Camel GT. I believe he's up to 15 career wins now on the American Tours Sports Car Championship, the Camel GT Series. So he's definitely become a star here in the league, working his way through now. Leads up to 7. The question mark is simple. Is he going to have to splash and go here at the end? Second place, O'Brien. 8 seconds back. Barron hits the pits. He does it early. It's an odd strategy to some extent. Comes in, makes a splash of fuel. Obviously going to be no tires. O'Brien passes him. And there's where Barron comes out. And this is just going to be a dogfight for the last 24 minutes. Barron deciding not to wait. Which will it cost him? Would it have been better to run the fuel down, keep the tires warm all the way to the end, and build a lead? But he's going to make his play here. 24 minutes to go. That's give or take 13, 14 laps. He's going to make his play for the win now, as it appears it's just him and O'Brien. Hossack and Warren appear to be a ways back. Pogo Gun hitting the pit box from 4th place in the GTE class, 9th overall. Same questions here. Stay down now in the lead. PT's not far behind him, as you can see on the track map. But is Shano the one sitting in the driver's seat? We don't know. Meanwhile, back up front, O'Brien is being dogged now by Barron, who may just have had the fastest car here all week. O'Brien struggling with the tires a little bit. Has not been as easy through traffic, and it may be a matter of time here. As Barron's just been closing in on him. And this appears to be the main drama in the LMP class. It looks like 3rd, 4th, and 5th, barring any mechanical issues, should be pretty well locked into their positions. But we've still got battles for the lead here. Pogo managed to make his stop and hang on comfortably to 4th place. Not really in range of Shano in 3rd. But here's where O'Brien, both of these guys are veterans. They've done this before. They run in separate classes during the Camel GT series, but in Rolex Endurance Cup, they've often been running together. Catching and passing are two different things, and O'Brien is a guy who's got pretty damn good nerves of steel when it comes down to it. So we'll see. 90 laps on the board here in the almost 3 hours, and we are not done yet. Want to stay with this battle, but we know there's drama coming in the GTE class as well. We know it for a fact. As Barron pushing the car a little bit, he might be having tire issues as well. It looked to me like when we were watching the broadcast that the Apex guys made their tire change about halfway. So he's been, he might be on as well than O'Brien. not 100% certain there. He's still stalking him. Let's check in with the GTE leader. Stay down. There's him right there. He's got a good 15-20 seconds on its PT at the moment, but the question, of course, is who PT might actually have his AI co-driver in at this point in the race. Shano, meanwhile, is a ways back, but to stay down half the pit. That's the $1 million question. And if he does, is there enough time to catch up to him? So we've still got some drama playing out here over the last 20 minutes. Oh, we got action up front. Barron is right there. Barron is right there trying to make that pass. Two Audis head to head. Battle for the overall and LMP lead. Looks like Barron might have gotten by him. O'Brien comes back on the outside. They are heading down towards going through Brooklands up to left field. Woodcote's coming up next. Woodcott, I should say. Barron got ahead briefly, could not make it stick. Riding on his front hood right now. They're coming up on some GT cars that they're frantically flashing to let them by, as this is the battle for the overall lead. O'Brien and Barron frantically flashing. I believe that might have been Ben letting them by. Go through club. Barron goes a little wide there. O'Brien's got his lights off. There he goes. This might be the chance. That might be the chance. Barron makes the pass. Can O'Brien come back on him? Their tires are going to be cooking right now. O'Brien's hoping he's not quite finished yet. He's giving it everything he's got here, trying to keep up. But once Barron's got in front, he started to pull away. There is traffic coming. That's going to be a key factor here. Barron flashing the oh, big hit. O'Brien got into somebody. That was had to be its PT. O'Brien made a Semper Fi move there. Obviously a move of desperation, and he wound up getting into PT pretty hard. Trying to avoid getting caught up. He's, as you can see, that's given Barron the ability to pull out in front with about 15 minutes to go. That might be the winning move that puts this away. We'll wait and see. Meanwhile, top of the GTE class. Let's try again at an interval. Get on the chase cam to do this so that I can get a more accurate timing. I'll do it from the T2 right here. Starting it there. Its PT comes in at 30 seconds back. And Shano comes in at 42 seconds back. That's a pretty comfortable lead back to Shano, who's the one I would think may not have to stop. I don't think Stay Down could probably make a tire change in that time and maybe not hold the lead, but be close. So I think if he takes just fuel, he's going to be safe. The question is, Shano should be able to try to move up here into second in class, but Stay Down, who won the British Touring Car Championship race last night, maybe looking to add another one to the trophy case here, as it looks like he's in a comfortable position. Give the field rundown. Last 15 minutes. Baron von Stosch, who said you saw what could wind up being the winning pass if he can avoid trouble, and as long as he took enough fuel on last time from Apex Motorsport. Win here would move him right up behind O'Brien in the points standings. Going past Average Gamer there in the GTE class as he's slowly extending that lead. He's been a little bit less than a second faster on average than O'Brien most of the race, and O'Brien gave him a hell of a run, but he seems to have the quick car. There's, speaking of O'Brien, there he is back there. You see him coming up from JME, the points leader coming in. He'll leave here as the points leader if he can hold on to this spot as he tries to work his way around the Porsche. Yeoman's effort here. A good strategy. Got out of the car early. I think he made time up that way, considering that he was behind a little bit at the start. And he's just trying to hang on. He was the winner at Le Mans last season. I think he's confident going in there this season that in a head-to-head battle he can come out with it, and that's what it's likely going to be for the Rolex Endurance Cup Championship. Heading into the final race at Le Mans. Meanwhile, back a ways here, other side of the track, nearly a minute down, Hossack 24, the Apex Motorsport teammate. Not been a big fan of the Rolex Endurance Cup races, despite the fact that he comes in second in points. Hasn't had a real good day. I'm not sure if his AI driver had some trouble or what the story is, but after qualifying second, he's running in third and looks like he's going to be comfortably locked into third as he tries to roll that car around to the finish in the Toyota. Warren Kyle Keith from JME Motorsports, O'Brien's teammate. Another good minute back. In fact, he might be close to being not far from being lapped again. He's already one lap down. Been a tough season for Warren. First season with JME Motorsports, big things most people thought. It's been a tough season, but he's a bounce back driver. He's definitely got the speed, and just looking to hold on. He's comfortably in a position to take home fourth place finish. So he goes sliding through the grass there, trying to avoid the car. He knows he's, no pressure at all. He's I believe 2 laps ahead of the car behind him. So he's just going to catch it, cruise it out. Stay down, meanwhile, making a pit stop while I'm sitting here yakking. Just a splash of fuel, I would imagine. Where's that going to put him on the track? He's coming out of the pits. It's PT and Shano are well back, and it looks like that splash of fuel is not going to hurt him. With 10 minutes to go, Stay Down is in the driver's seat to claim the victory here. Meanwhile, Barron has opened up. O'Brien having some trouble in traffic, fighting those tires. He's now fallen to nearly 9 seconds back. But back to our running order behind Warren, getting run off. There's Ben from AMG Motorsport. Rookie driver or second season. He might have made his debut last season. Ben, happy to be in the field. Came in, I believe, 4th place in the Rolex Endurance Cup points. But he's had a very tough time in this car this week. And looks like he's going to come home with a 5th place finish. And it'll be enough to put him in a position where he's going to be fighting to stay in that top 4, top 5 spot in Rolex Endurance Cup points heading into Le Mans. All right, that's down to the GTE class. As we said, you saw Stay Down coming in and out. Longtime SCL veteran running for Team Dana Moore. He's had a big season, leading the Winston Cup Series point standings, looking to claim his first championship there. As I said, he won here last night in the touring car championship event. And he's had terrific pace. He's going faster now, as you see, 157.8 than he has pretty much all day, almost. And he's just riding it out here, trying to put away the laps to put this race in the book here in the last 8 minutes. He's had that Ford cooking. And not up there in the point standings, but he's going to pick up a very, very well-earned victory. It's PT, not sure about his fuel situation. He's trying to hang on to second over Shano. PT as his teammate on Extreme Speed Motorsport, Gunter, who we'll get to shortly, said earlier. They're running these Rolex Endurance Cup races just to get the track time in the Ferrari for their full-time effort in the Camel GT Series over on the American Tour. And he's put up a good run. Pretty much locked into a podium finish regardless, but he'd like to hang on to that second place points. And third in class, Shano Kano. DNF's bit him early in the season, both in this series and in Camel GT. He's recovered to win 3 races and take the points lead in Camel GT. No such luck's going to happen here in the Rolex Endurance Cup. He may, however, as you can see right in front of him there, that is PT, and that is the battle for second place in the GTE class. I don't know if PT's got enough fuel, but Shana would love to pick up the extra points and the extra position, and that's going to be one of our most interesting battles on the track. Those two are nose to tail with each other as they're getting another flashing car coming through. O'Brien's tire, you can see at 146 on that last lap, his tires have completely gone away. He's just going to hang on to second there as these two are getting closer and closer to a very tight battle for position. PT might be, judging by the lap times, might be his AI driver. But it looks like he's run out of time, and Shano's in position to make the pass. On the bumper cam right in the action. Shano makes the pass, moves into second in class. All right, back to fourth, Pogo Gun, a rookie, leading the Camel GT Rookie of the Year standings, leading the IndyCar Series Rookie of the Year standings. He's had a fine season. He's won in the Support Series. And he's run laps competitive with the leaders here throughout the race, but just hasn't worked out for him strategy-wise and whatnot. May have gotten into some early trouble. He's running in what appears to be a comfortable fourth. Let me check where he's at on the track. Yeah, very comfortable fourth place. And this is a guy who, he's in it for the long haul. This guy's going to be a long-term career player here in the SCL. And every one of these laps, every one of these good finishes like this is just a sign that of good things to come. He's one of the hottest names on the free agent market right now. All right, fifth, half a track away, is Average Gamer, another rookie, the Aussie, another independent, another one of the hottest rookie free agents in the SCL on either tour. Running fifth in class. His last lap, a 1:54.2. That may be the fastest lap of the race. And in fact, it is. I don't know if he's aiming for a fast lap. He might have came in and pitted with the comfortable position he's in, but that was the fastest lap of the race. He must be pitting 2:17 that lap. Must have wrecked the car. He's having some trouble, but either way, he looks to be comfortably in fifth place. Another guy in it for the long haul, an Australian driver. We look forward to seeing him some more. He's run a solid event. He's been quick, but inconsistent, and that's been the key for him, why he's not up further. Sixth in class, Rita St. James in the Huba Chips car for JME Motorsports. Making this spot start here in her home country. She has not had the feel of this track or this car much throughout this week. She ran second in the Camel GT series in the GTE class in this car last season. But she's run competitive lap times, but it hasn't been her day. She's doing a yeoman's effort, going to bring home what looks like, we'll check her position on the track here to Gunter behind her, but with no trouble. And if she doesn't have to make a splash, she should comfortably take home sixth. That brings us to Gunter of Extreme Speed Motorsport, another rookie driver, heading out for this race, running seventh in class. As you can see by his lap time, last time up, and his lap times earlier on, he's put up competitive lap times. There's no doubt about it. It's just a matter of putting together the consistency. He's going to take home some experience and a good finish. Well done, Semper Fi soldier. All right, S2N Remy. Talked about him. Had him on with us earlier in the broadcast. He's going to bring home a yeoman's 8th place finish himself, as well as TS24 fan got in as an alternate. Just looking to put together a finish. He's going to get that. Get some track time. Now in his 5th SCL season, but mainly been a part-time driver, looking to see if he joins a team, runs full-time. I believe he has a lot of promise. We'll see how that goes. Okay, these things seem to be a little bit sorted out here. 19 seconds seems about right. Shano's gaining, but just not enough time for him to catch up to stay down. All right, let's get back to the top there. Baron von Stosch, your overall leader. Looking just to bring this home. Judging by where they're at, he'll take the white flag next time by. And he's just been lightning quick throughout the race. Going to come home with another impressive victory to add to his resume. But he's had a lightning quick car, and he's driven away from O'Brien, who gave him a hell of a fight to make the pass. But I believe O'Brien's tires might be gone. Appeared that way. Barron's had his trouble. He's been around earlier in the race, but recovered from it. Come back up. He's got enough of a lead to make little bobbles like that and hang on to it. As he takes the white flag, I'm almost certain. he said he's had the measure of these prototypes the last few seasons. Managed to use the extra events, the multi-class races, to become, as of now, in terms of pure number of wins, the winningest driver in Camel GT Series history. And he's going to add a Rolex Endurance Cup win to his sports car resume here today. Clock is out, white flag is out. A long race here at the SCL Season 25 British Sports Car Championship. But it's been a solid one. We've seen good performances. We've seen a primarily clean race. Not very many major incidents or anything. Early on we had a couple. The Average Gamer and its PT got into a tangle when the Average Gamer went around and PT got into him. There he flashed in the lights. As Barron takes the checkered flag, he is your winner in the LMP class at the British Sports Car Championship at Silverstone. Let's get back to our GTE leader, see where he's at. So Brian, it appears, is going to bring it home second. Hossack third. Warren fourth. Ben fifth. Will let them run it out. Meanwhile, Stay Down leading the GTE class. Wouldn't say a dominant performance. I definitely saw other guys look good too, but he had a smooth run, as Stay Down himself said when he was in here on the broadcast being interviewed. Had no trouble. His AI co-driver didn't get in any flare-ups. Just about everything that he needed it to do, the car didn't have any major problems. Combine that with excellent pace, and you've got your British Sports Car Championship winner for the GTE class in Stay Down Killing. Hossack bringing it home in third place, another podium finish for the Apex Motorsport driver. These guys finish it out, but up front we had no battles here at the end for position. But there they are, Baron von Stosh and Stay Down Killin', your winners, class winners here at the SCL 25 British Sports Car Championship. See here on the board, Baron von Stosh, O'Brien, Hossack, WKK, and Ben rounding out the top 5 in the P1s. And there are your top 5 drivers in the GTE class. Stay Down Killin', Shane O'Kano, It's PT rounding out the podium. Pogo Gun comes home 4th, Average Gamer 5th, Rita, Gunter, Remy, and TS24 Fan round out the class. Let's get our screenshots here per class. But a fantastic race. And I'm going to head into the game room to talk to the drivers real quick. Good race, guys. Very clean. You guys put on a good show. Came in and had some good comments to make for a good broadcast, so make sure to check it out. Congrats to Baron von Stosh and Stay Down Killin', our class winners. And it's, according to my pigeon calculations, it's going to be basically a head-to-head battle for the Rolex Endurance Cup at Le Mans. Oh yeah, it's going to be something. news for the week before I sign off and get my late ass to work. The American Tour obviously going to be at Indianapolis and Sonoma next week. Brickyard 400, IndyCar and Camel GT racing at Sonoma. The support series are at the pertinent places as well by series. Next weekend, however, we do have plans on some international tour events. Will be at Sonoma next weekend. We will on Sunday have the Formula One North American Grand Prix at Sonoma. And more than likely, Shano will have to confirm this, but we will have a V8 World Tour race at Sonoma on Friday. And if Warren has a sports car event in the international time slot, we might do that too. In other words, what I'm telling you is international tour is heading to Sonoma next week with the Americans. So we'll have some. It's a Formula X car. Formula X car is Formula One. Yeah, a fast car. Excellent wheel-to-wheel racing. We anticipate what we wanted at Formula One to be is a souped-up version of the IndyCar road racing, and that's exactly what it is. It's a lighter, faster version of that. But anyway, go ahead, man. No, you're good. Yeah, what you're going to see, guys, the reason we like it, you got the rev limiter on the IndyCar that goes to about 173, 175, which bugs some people, but that's about what they do, and they do have rev limiters on these cars these days. It doesn't affect them the way it does us, but it's a similar concept. The Formula X, Formula One car, it goes up to about 194. It's lighter than the IndyCar. The big difference is going to be running the international tour rules, running Parc Fermé rules, all that kind of stuff. What's going to make it even more interesting is the tires and your strategy. You can put enough fuel in to go. You could put your full tank might get you the whole race distance, but you're going to have to stop for tires. So you're going to have to strategize how much fuel, how many stops you want to make. The tires are going to drop off crazy in those cars in a long race. Like, is it going to be faster to make an extra stop and just burn it on soft tires, or is it going to be better to put the hard tires on and lose a stop and lose a little speed on the track? There's going to be all that is going to come in to play in that kind of race. It's going to be very, very interesting. So we're going to be unveiling them at Sonoma next week for the North American Grand Prix, and we hope you internationals will be there, and a few of us Americans will get up early and take the corporate jet out there to ride it. But I got to get going, guys. Great race. Congrats again to Barron and Stay Down. You guys ran a hell of a race. There was a number of you that ran lap time wise. I tell you right now, there were 4 of you in the GTE class and 4 of you in the, actually 5 of you on occasion in the LMP class that were running lap times that were absolutely with the front runners. It's just a matter of some of you were running those laps 90% of the time. Some of you were running them 50% of the time. That was the difference. Those 1 or 2 second bad laps add up over 3 hours. But overall, great show, guys. No complaints. We'll tweak we'll do some serious tweaking before you guys even message me. We're going to do some serious testing and tweaking on the AI going into Le Mans to the point where we'll make them slower. We'll make the amateur class drivers really amateur if we have to avoid you guys getting hit again as best we can. So we'll work on that. We got 3 weeks until Le Mans, so we'll have that sorted out. But I got to split. Warren, Rita, Shano, all the officials, thanks. And I'll catch you guys this week. All right, have a good one, guys.